ran. I got to get the other streams up and running. So give me a minute or two before so I can do that, and then we should be going live momentarily. So let me go ahead and get this other stream up. And who's that? This says Lynn Langford and Nighthawk. Good evening to you folks. Give me a moment to get the other streams up. Don Lemon got arrested. I think everybody know that. That's what we're going to be talking about. But we're also going to be talking about um, the death investigations of Alex Pretti and Renee Nicole Good. So I want to discuss that with you folks as well. So, tale of two topics. And of course, these are kind of like, unfortunately, when it comes to Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretti, they're kind of like the topic that can go into a million different directions. So we're going to cover all that. Everybody's seen the video of Alex Pretty's losing his life, but I think also everybody has seen the videos of. And good evening. Somebody said first Vincent LaCroix. Good evening. And I think also everybody has seen the video of Alex Pretty being less than honorable, being a less than honorable citizen. So we're gonna cover all that. But give me a minute to get my other streams going. Want to get the right hashtags and all that other good shit in there so that um the algorithms, you know how it is. I'm getting my other, so bear with me for a moment and we'll get the show on the road here. Good evening, Chatty Ash. Good evening to you. Um, it's been a busy week, but it is the Trump administration. I don't think there's a boring week that ever happens in the Trump administration. I think every week it is crazy. This is a time that will go down in history as the most I mean, I can't, for lack of a better term, I'll say chaotic as well. Wasn't it what is her name? They called it bird brain. Alex, not Alex, Nikki Haley. South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, when she was running for president, one of the things she used to say is, we can't replace the chaos of the Biden administration with the chaos of Trump. We did that, and of course, it is indeed very chaotic under President Trump. So, but a lot of people like it. A lot of people like it. So, um, every single week, that's what we're talking about. Every week, it is fairly chaotic, and this week is obviously no exception. So, I think we got everything going here. Let me make sure we'll get that program going. And having said that, we'll go ahead and start the program off. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who you ask. Um, TikTok in particular, I'll just say this, and good evening to Mar. Good evening to you. I'll see you in the comments. And Arletha, 282 as well. Good evening, folks. The jury is still out, at least from this show's perspective, in regards to whether or not TikTok is in full censorship mode, primarily towards the left and anti-Trump folks. I'm just going to say I was seeing some censorship before the app switched hands. I'm still seeing it, so I'm just going to say under my personal analysis, I haven't seen it, but there are left-wing content creators all over the damn place that are on social media saying that if you lean left, are known for criticizing the president, talking about Epstein or any of this shit, that your content gets censored. They're suggesting that since the app changed hands, and we all know that the TikTok app is now owned by a Trump friendly organization. I think it's Oracle, an organization headed by Trump friendly people. So folks are saying it's censored. I'm going to say right now I haven't seen that, but we're keeping our eye out for that, which is why on yesterday's program we asked that folks give us alternative sites for TikTok should we find ourselves having to leave TikTok. And a lot of you guys did. I wrote down a hell of a lot of sites, and I'm certainly going to be taking those into consideration. Sites like what is it? Blue Sky, Epic Studios, Substack, Twitch, Black TikTok. I've never heard of that. Upscroll. So we're not going to go too deep into that, but that's something I did want to bring up is that if you don't see us on TikTok, for my viewers that primarily watch the show on TikTok, if suddenly you wonder, why haven't you seen the show in a while? It could be that. So I'm going to tell you, we're currently always on Handsome Liberal on Instagram and on YouTube. We'll always be on those sites. Those sites seem to be user friendly at this point. So if you haven't seen us in a while, feel free to check out one of those sites. I would also advise you, if you favor this kind of programming in an uncensored format, we're always going to be MAGA friendly. Understand that. No matter what happens, even if we get censored, we're always going to be MAGA friendly because we like hearing both perspectives or all perspectives in political debate. So if you, for some reason, haven't seen us on TikTok in a while, I'm going to advise that you go ahead and follow us on Instagram and YouTube now, so that way you can go check. I'm going to plug myself. That's what we do. Anyhow, getting into the damn show, and welcome all of you folks. Happy Friday. Hope it's been a wonderful week for you. But it has been chaotic. It's the Trump administration that has been chaotic. As you may be aware, Don Lemon of CNN fame has been taken into custody. Now they're charging him with federal crimes, by the way, conspiracy to deprive rights in violation of the FACE Act. So this is some civil rights type violations. Now, the obvious defense that Don Lemon is going to push back on is that he's a journalist. And thank you for that, James Harper. Appreciate that. Help your boy out with the Tic Tac cap goal. Thank you, James, for starting that off. The obvious pushback in defense for Don Lemon is going to be that he's a journalist. Now, he went inside of a church while folks were genuinely disrupting service. That is a crime. Apparently, it's a federal crime. I was not aware of it, but it is a crime, other than just trespassing. The difference is, though, if you are at an event where crimes are taking place, as a journalist, you can photograph that. No different than while the Black Lives Matter riots were going on and towns were being burned down and shit like that. There were journalists on the ground within the fires filming what was going on. Nobody accused the folks filming this stuff as being rioters. They were not accused of that. So with Don Lemon and suggesting that he violated the FACE Act and deprived folks of rights, they're going to have to prove that he was not filming, but rather actually committing crimes. I don't know if that's going to make, listen, from the videos I've seen, I got to say that's a hell of a stretch to make. And Michael Student Brute says, I'm a liberal. I didn't agree with that. Fair enough. But I don't see, if Don Lemon goes into the church knowing some bullshit is about to take place, but he doesn't participate in it, he just pulls out a camera and films it, is he partially responsible for the bullshit? Let's say you knew for a fact 3 guys getting out of an Impala was about to go into a bank and rob it. And you walked in behind them with your phone and filmed the whole robbery taking place, knowing it was going to happen ahead of time. Are you partially responsible for the crime being committed? That's the point. Now, because simply put, they got to show that Don Lemon was participating in what the other individuals were doing. And I see in the comments, Frank Ocean fan says, yes. If you go into a bank knowing a robbery is taking place and you record it, you are too responsible for the robbery. So we'll leave it at that. But they're getting him for the FACE Act and they're getting him for violation of depriving folks of their rights. I'd be curious, how far is this going to go? I'm curious because I'll ask you folks in the comments. Now that they've charged him with a couple of federal beefs, how long do you think he's going to serve in prison? Do you, yes or no, do you believe Don Lemon is going to serve a significant time behind bars? Do you believe that Don Lemon is ultimately going to serve a significant period of time behind bars for this? Yes or no in the comments. How many of you folks believe that significant, at least a year, at least a year? How many of you folks believe he's going to serve a significant period of time incarcerated because of this? Because keep in mind, this is us as taxpayers paying for this. And I will submit to you, and this is to my beloved MAGA that have no love for Don Lemon at all. And I understand it because Don Lemon has no love for you. But here is the point to be made. If you don't like Don Lemon, why the hell are you helping him so much? Don Lemon got ousted from CNN, fired over a year ago. He's doing his own thing on social media. I suppose he has a few followers. I didn't keep up with Don Lemon much. I know he's out there. I've been recommended to him on TikTok. He's, occasionally I come across his YouTube page. I didn't watch him much on CNN. I'm a big Chris Cuomo fan. I watched him on CNN, and after he got fired, I have followed him to News Nation. But Don Lemon, I never was a big fan of. But the point I'm making is, now that this has happened, I've watched Don Lemon's page a few times today. I've watched Don Lemon's TikTok page as well, where there's like 5,000 or 6,000 people watching it because a few other folks were manning his page in his absence. The point I'm making is, if you don't like Don Lemon, why would you bring so many fucking subscribers to his page? You're essentially going to make this guy a fortune out of this. Because people want to hear what he has to say now, and they're subscribing to his page. He's making money, and you're not likely to get much in terms of incarceration. So I don't see this. Remember when Trump had 34 felonies and folks said, you're stretching the law just trying to get as many crimes on this guy as possible because you don't like him? I would ask you right now, what is the difference between that and this? If you believe there was a witch hunt performed on Trump just to get something on him, what is the difference between that and what Don Lemon is going through now? Then, well, he broke the federal law. Well, Trump officially broke laws too. Remember, well, he took out a loan from a bank and he ended up paying it back with interest. Who gives a shit? Yes, he broke the law, but there were no victims. What is the difference now with this whole melee of trying to find, by the way, a judge had originally rejected charging Don Lemon with anything. They went around and they went after him federally. So I don't get it, but I do want to hear from you folks because there were a lot of folks on the right that often stated, the more you go after Trump, the more you're making us like him. That's going to apply to Don Lemon. At a smaller degree, I'll admit, but you're going to make folks sympathize and watch and listen to Don Lemon who would have normally considered him as an afterthought, such as yours truly. I wasn't watching any of Don Lemon's content. Now I am, because I want to hear what he has to say. So you guys are bringing him additional fame, giving him 15 minutes of it, and you're bringing him a ton of money, and you're not likely to get anything out of this, all at taxpayers' expense. What is the purpose of that? So we're going to talk about that. And I see in the comments, this is a distraction for more e-files that came out today, says Jermaine. Jermaine, I stand by my original statement. I don't think the right gives a damn about the e-files. I don't believe if it came out that Trump did violate the innocence of a child, I don't believe that would make a difference. I really don't. The folks that do not like Trump already have concluded he has victimized children. The folks that do like Trump don't care. They don't care what's in the e-files. As I stated many times before, it is a 90-10 issue for MAGA. 90% of what Trump is doing is good for this great nation. And they're not going to throw him under the bus for the other 10. Yeah, okay, he did something back in the 90s or early 2000s with young girls. I don't like it. I wouldn't have done it myself, but I like his policies. I like him a hell of a lot better than any liberal you could put in there. You think I want Kamala Harris to destroy the country? That is the mindset. So it doesn't. We can keep talking about distractions from the e-files, but it doesn't matter. Everyone has their mind already made up on President Trump when it comes to the Epstein files. Everybody's mind is already made up on that. I don't think there's anything you could release in the Epstein files that would change the mindset in this country of President Trump. Might shock a few folks, but listen, look, yeah, look back, but Clinton was in there too. Joe Biden sniffed on some kids too. I mean, that's what is going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I don't like what he did, but Joe Biden did it. Clinton did it, or they're going to bring up somebody else. It's not going to matter. Anyway, continuing on with the program, we are lucky Tim was not vice president, but Democrats don't say nothing. I don't know about that one, Crypto King. I love the name, by the way. So that is our first topic. Don Lemon, I want to get your opinions on it before we start taking callers and things like that. But also, this one is of importance to me. Now, we know about Renee Nicole Good and now Alex Pretti, both losing their lives at the hands of ICE. We're going to obviously end up talking about whether they were justified or not. I'm sure people are going to bring that up. We've seen now videos of Alex Pretti indicating he certainly was not always a man of good character, kicking a taillight out of an FBI vehicle, allegedly spatting at officers and things like that. So he's not the Boy Scout the left had portrayed him to be. However, does that justify taking his life? Does that footage, and you guys tell me in the comments, yes or no, does that footage you seen of Alex Pretti 11 days prior to his death, does that change your opinion at all on how or why he lost his life? Yes or no? Does that footage showing he's not a Boy Scout from 11 days earlier change your opinion at all on how you feel about the way he lost his life? Because it is certainly coming up a hell of a lot. Handsome Conservative says, first of all, support your local liberal. Second, I'm coming over to TikTok and getting in the guest box. I would like to talk to you about Don Lemon. We'll certainly make that happen. So I want you guys to hear something, though, because the Trump administration is blocking virtually anyone else from participating in the investigation into the death of Alex Pretti and Renee Nicole Good. They're the only entity investigating this. Let me hear your opinion as to why, or do you think that's fair, et cetera, et cetera. But I do want to play you a clip that you may have already heard from the Trump administration, but it is certainly noteworthy considering they are the only ones that are going to be investigating the death, and what they say coming out of this is up to us whether we want to believe it or not.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Crowd control measures were deployed to bring safety to the public and to law enforcement at the scene. And once again, I want to remind everybody that this situation and this tragedy did not have to happen. This individual showed up to impede a law enforcement operation and assaulted our officers. They responded according to their training and took action to defend the officer's life and those of the public around him. And I don't know of any peaceful protester that shows up with a gun and ammunition rather than a sign. This is a violent riot when you have someone showing up with weapons and are using them to assault law enforcement officers.
Now, keep in mind, I'm playing her because had there not been citizens around this event filming it, that is the report you would have received in regards to his death. That is what you would have received, and you would not have had any video footage to go by. You would have received that report. They're the only ones investigating his death. They've blocked everyone else, so we don't know what the preliminary findings are going to end up being. But they're the only ones that are going to be telling you what happened and whether his death was justified or not. Do you trust the Trump administration investigating the death of Kristi Noem and, or better yet, not Kristi, investigating the death of Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretti? Yes or no in the comments. How many of you folks will trust that the Trump administration will do right by the deceased in regards to investigating them. Now, keep in mind, she's not the only one that has made statements like that. Also, they've also referred to him as an assassin, indicating that he wanted to show up and cause harm or kill everybody there, or as many people as possible. They've painted him out to be pretty violent. And I'm not talking about violent in terms of just resisting police. They painted him out to be a wannabe killer. Do you trust having them as the only party investigating the deceased? That's what we're going to talk about. And I also guess I have to ask also, why would they block everybody else out? Why would they, if what they're saying is on the up and up, and Trump is known for being transparent, why are they blocking everybody else out? What is the purpose of that? So we'll talk about that. And those are going to end up being our two topics. They called him a domestic terrorist as well. So in addition to saying he was brandishing a weapon, and there's no video footage of that whatsoever, but she said he was brandishing a weapon. I just want to hear that one more time.
Officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
I mean, now he obviously did have a 9mm handgun on him, but the way she frames it makes it look like he walked up to the cops with the gun in his hand and they got in a scuffle trying to disarm him. Not that he had it in his back or, in the small of his back. And I mean, the way she phrases it makes it look like it was a deadly threat the minute the officers encountered him and they had to hurry up and disarm him. And they couldn't do it, so they had to defend their lives by shooting him. The way she is framing that, wow, that is the only story you would get, folks, had the citizens not been around filming this. So the question is, do you trust the administration to give us an investigation into his death? So you guys know how the program is ran. We are indeed MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. This is uncensored programming, as always. You can be critical of anybody on this show, including yours truly. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having a dinner with Q. That's how free speech works. So looking in the comment section, hard to get a proper investigation in cities where they have defunded the police. Okay. I don't know if Minnesota, are they guilty of defunding the police? And by the way, even if you defund the police, how many people you need to do an investigation? They didn't defund. What are you saying? There's no cops in that area at all. Minnesota has no state cops or anything. I agree. Don't be armed. Don't give them a reason to interact with you. I agree with that as well. I would suggest looking at ICE like you would a very delicate grenade. Doesn't really need a legitimate reason to go off. Yeah, committing crimes around ICE put you in a bad situation. You don't have to commit crimes around. You can film them. You can simply be recording them. Interacting with ICE in any way, shape, or form, in my humble opinion, is dangerous. It's dangerous because their method of operation is escalation. So interacting with them in any shape or form is highly unadvised. They are on 10 the moment you come in contact with them. If you start challenging them, it just gets worse. But you do not have to challenge ICE to set them off, like a very delicate grenade is how I say it. So going to the box, we'll start the program off with I don't know what I hit there, but we'll go straight off. Straight talk right out the box.
Hey, can I tell you something? Let me tell you something.
Sure.
You finally get it. You finally get it. And by the way, what do you mean no investigation? We have Sherlock Holmes that can't let this go.
Who is Sherlock Holmes?
You have researched this from every single angle possible.
But let me ask you though,
Is it going to stop your investigation?
No, do you trust, because the Trump administration is going to give you the official investigation though. Do you trust them to be unbiased and give us a true investigation?
Well, you just went back over, and I watched you do this.
You didn't answer my question. You can criticize. Wait. You can criticize. You didn't answer you can criticize me.
I do trust them. I do trust them, and I'm going to tell you why.
Sure.
because you sat here in front of all of us, 246 people in here. You heard something from Kristi Noem she didn't say. And you even went back to try and find what you thought you heard. And you didn't find it. And we all watched you do it.
No, I repeated it.
Yes.
So
She spoke the truth.
So what Kristi Noem's statement is true the way she described it.
100%. You thought she said he was brandishing the 9mm.
No,
that's what you were looking for.
Hold on. If I tell you somebody approached law enforcement with a 9mm handgun, and they tried to disarm the person and they couldn't, so they had to shoot. You going to picture that the gun was in his ankle holster? You're going to, the way she described it, puts the gun in his hand. It absolutely does.
No. In your brain works different than mine.
No shit it does. Thank you, Love the Cruise.
But I need you to recognize that, because I don't look at my government as always evil. You look at the government as always the bad guy.
Okay.
Always. Unless they're handing you a check, they're the bad guy all the time.
I don't know. Wait, where did handing me a check come from? What the hell is that?
You don't complain when you get your income tax returns back. That's all I'm saying.
I'm an independent. Wait a minute. I think you're speaking on shit you don't. I'm an independent contractor. I don't get anything back. What are you talking about?
Listen, it was a royal you. I don't want you to take that personal. I don't either. The minute that came out of my mouth, I was like, wait, that does not sound like what I wanted to say. So I'm going to give you that, okay? I apologize, because I'm like you. I don't claim any dependents. I don't get money. I never give my government a loan.
I don't know why giving me a check came out of your mouth to begin with. I work hard for every fucking dime. That's why I tell folks, hold on. I work hard for every day. That's why I tell folks, help the program out. TikTok, I like to see a fucking galaxy. Not he made it sound like I don't work. God damn it, I'm here working every day for you folks.
You're killing it.
In addition to my day job. I
brought the mop out and cleaned that up immediately after I said it, and that is not good enough for you.
So let me ask you, what is up with calling him an assassin? You actually believe he was there intending on taking people's lives?
Well, that was the second time. This is what I will say.
I didn't get an answer.
I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Did you see anything out of him that would have indicated he might have been there as an assassin to take a bunch of lives?
Yes, but not in that incident.
Which incident?
He is growing. His anger had been growing. It's not his first run-in with ICE. He kicked the taillight out of an ICE vehicle a few days before, like 10 days before.
Right.
This guy was a repeat offender. He was escalating in all of his business. So this guy was extremely unhappy, okay? He brought a loaded weapon to this protest. Now, to me, these are not even protests.
Hold on. Let me just say something. You say his anger was growing. When you look at how angry he was 11 days before his death, where he's kicking taillights and shit out and spitting on officers, what he did 11 days later seems less angry. He seemed like he was more angry.
He had a gun the next time.
He had a gun. No. He had a gun when he kicked at the taillight, because you can see it in his back. He had a gun that day too.
I'm just telling you, I know that he had it the second time. I don't know that he had it the first time.
Look at the video again. Look at the video again.
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah.
The
the point I'm making is his anger was subsiding. It was not increasing. What he did 11 days earlier was significantly more violent.
Not in my view. Listen, not in my view. If you're angry enough to go the first time and kick a taillight out, and then you show up again 10 days later after they broke your damn rib, by the way, I'm sure that his anger didn't subside with a broken rib. That's a very painful injury. So stop with all that mess.
Your view that his anger was increasing is simply based on the fact that he showed up. It ain't based on nothing else. He just showed up after getting his ass kicked.
He showed up with a loaded weapon.
He had the loaded weapon already on the first go round.
Okay. You know what? I don't know that, but I'm going to take your word. That's why I called you Sherlock Holmes, because you seem to know this.
No, see, it's on video.
You seem to know things the rest of us. But see, here's why I don't trust you. Because you thought Christy Nome said one thing, went back to investigate, and couldn't find where you thought she said what she said.
I'm going to tell you straight out, straight talk. If you asked anyone what Christy Nome said, I want you to paint a picture or draw what you think is happening in this. Everybody's going to put the firearm in that guy's hand. When you say a person approached law enforcement with a firearm, there is nobody. Okay. There is nobody hearing what she said.
Is that she inartfully said what she said. That's your argument. I'm not going to argue that with you. If you need it spelled out for you better, fine.
Yes.
We'll do that. We'll get some goddamn Crayolas for you if you'd like. But this is what you need to understand. You guys love breaking the law. Don Lemon, this woman.
Wait. You guys, what did he do that's any different than the participants on January 6th? I don't get it.
Guess what? I include them.
No, okay. So when you say you guys, you're talking about MAGA too. Then
anyone who's breaking the law is included in this.
Okay.
Anyone who breaks the law, likes to break the law, is included in this. Are we good now?
I just had to figure out who the hell you guys is because I'm not part of it.
I'll clear it up for you. Here's a beige crayon for you.
Okay.
Look, dude, anyone that likes to break the law can expect to pay for breaking the law, period. I want ICE to increase what they're doing. I need them to step up their game.
You said anyone.
So goddamn scared.
You said anyone that breaks the law can be expected to pay for it. I've seen hundreds of people get.
Why do you treat me differently than any of your other guests?
You say some wild shit.
You do not do this to your other guests.
You say some wild. I've seen hundreds of people get pardoned for January 6th. You said anybody that break the law
get treated like this by you, except for me. Every 3 words, you got to interrupt me. One sentence. I want to finish one sentence.
Everybody I talk to says the same thing you're saying. Gangsta Grandma says the same shit.
Up. I mean, if everybody
that ain't how the show is written. I'm not gonna let you blow me and say a bunch of shit, and then I sit there and not say anything. That's not how it works.
I got you, but I would like to at least finish a thought.
Finish your thought.
We're at 7 minutes right now.
Finish your thought.
3.5 of those minutes have been you interrupting me.
Okay.
Listen.
You got 3.5 out of 7. That's how a conversation goes. Go, give me your damn thought.
It's not a conversation. All right. Don Lemon goes into a church and interrupts the services of that church. Fine. You don't think that he should be punished for that. That's my point. My point is it's breaking. We have a law against that. And some people think he should be punished for that. Okay. I think that if you're man enough to go in and interrupt the service, you're man enough to face whatever consequences you get for interrupting that service. Okay. If you go to where ICE are doing these activities and you end up with a lead poisoning, guess what? That's part of doing business. That's the cost of doing business. I want every single person listening to this to realize you are taking your life in your own hands by going and interfering with immigration enforcement. I need you to get that. I want you to understand that. If you want to protest, go to the Capitol steps, go to a park somewhere, get police protection instead of instigating the police. That's what you need to do.
Your own goddamn president didn't do that. He claims that Nancy Pelosi didn't even give him police protection. He didn't even do that.
He begged her for that. And by the way, again, you keep throwing this January 6th out there like I approve, like I signed off on that shit.
The minute you voted, the reason I'm
pass me with that.
I let you finish your thought. The reason why I interrupt because you say a lot. You said several things I wanted to respond to, but when you cover that much ground, I'm going to forget shit. That's why you end up getting interrupted because you said something I really wanted to respond to. But
we have the same brain.
Yeah, but the idea why I keep going back to January 6th is because and by the way, when you say you don't co-sign January 6th, you co-signed it the minute you reelected the guy. He made it clear he was going to let them all out. He made it clear they were all patriots. The minute you voted for him, you co-signed that. The same way you say we co-sign shit that Biden does.
No.
Yeah.
No. And let me explain to you how. I do not think that any of those people that went into broke into the Capitol should have been pardoned. I don't.
Then why vote for him? He made it clear he was going to do it.
Well, there's a lot of things that he's said he was going to do. I like 99% of them.
All right,
that's
then.
one thing I don't really care for.
90-10 issue. That's exactly what I just said. Keep going.
Yeah. Listen, I loved everything else he's done.
Right.
Wait, let me ask you this.
That's exactly what I said.
I want to hear
thank you.
Theory about something. I want to hear what you think of this, okay? According to the 1930 treaty with Greenland, the United States could have sent 100,000 people to Greenland with a population of like 56,000. We could have forced them to immigrate to Greenland. Greenland would have had to take those people. We could have had a referendum and voted and made Greenland a United State. What do you think about that? We could have taken over that country without asking anybody their permission.
I think we were the good guys back then. That's why we didn't do it. Trump would do exactly what you're saying.
No. I'm saying today we can still do it today.
No, they ain't gonna let you do it today because they know we on some sinister shit now. They would push back. So.
They would have to violate the treaty in order to do it. Now, I'm glad that you say that, though, because it would be some sinister shit. Yeah. But that's exactly what's going on in this country now, and you guys love it.
Well, wait. What would end up happening now that they know? Wait, hold on. Now that they know Greenland is on some sinister. Now that Greenland know we on some sinister shit, they would probably pass some kind of law in their government that does not let those new folks come over be able to vote. I mean, they would probably prevent them from doing anything
without
like
violating the treaty. They would have to. I mean, they have a treaty with us right now that says we could do that.
We could actually make people wait.
Right now, they would have to break that treaty with us in order to do that.
There's no treaty that says we can bring people to your country and you can't stop them from voting. That's not in any treaty.
Yes, you're wrong. You're wrong about that. That particular country, not any country, but we could theoretically do it to any country we wanted. And the proof of that is because it's happening in our country right now. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Because of our immigration laws, people can send their citizens, their criminals, whoever the hell they want to here, and they can vote laws into our country. They can elect representatives into our country, and there isn't really shit we can do about it, except make it harder to immigrate here. Well, the same thing is going on in the EU.
Creed in the comments pointed out, he says, "Oh, now you don't care about breaking treaties." And that's the thing is, I mean, America's broken. I'm saying that there's no way Greenland would allow these folks to come over there and then vote and do that.
Listen, it's not my rules. I read through the treaty. Someone brought it up on CNN. They brought up that plan on CNN. I was like, hey, that's bullshit. I went and actually it's the truth. Now, it would theoretically work for any country on the planet. We could do the same. Now, it would be harder to do to India or China because they got so damn many people. But there are a lot. We have a lot more people in this country than a lot of smaller countries than us. And it would absolutely work because it's working here. We're having it done to us.
My guess is if we sent 100,000 people to Greenland, they would start assimilating with Greenland. They wouldn't, because listen, there's a lot of bad things about the United States that living in Greenland, you wouldn't want to come over there. You don't want their kids going to schools and getting shot or not having health care and homelessness.
As proof of that, a lot of the immigrants that fight their way, defeat death, try to get here as best they can, bring their families here. We've had a long history of people who, once they get here, one of the safety valves of being an American is once people actually get here and realize the opportunities they have, they stop with all their bullshit thinking and they don't want to do anything to it.
Yeah. I can tell you, ain't nobody coming to America and saying, I love the fact that your kids get shot in schools. I love the fact that you guys are homeless. I love the fact that you don't have health care. There's plenty of things they come here. They just can't change those things. They don't love every damn thing about America.
You haven't been out and about out.
You really wait. You
I worked for
really think
companies for the last 20 years.
immigrants come to this country and they find it favorable that kids get shot in schools? You think they see that as a good thing, huh?
Of course not.
Okay, that's the point I'm making.
Their kids were getting shot where they were, dummy. The kids, why did they come here? Stop.
Some of the stuff you're saying.
Think about what you're saying.
I'm thinking about what you're saying. That's what's the fucked up part about it.
No, you're not, because you obviously cannot think. Tim, why in the fuck would you bring your family to a country that is as violent as you say America is if you're trying to leave a violent country? Now knock it off.
You want the answer or you want to just talk shit?
No, I want you to be intellectually.
I'll answer it simply. Some motherfuckers put money above every goddamn thing else. Some people will come to a country that's violent because they can make more fucking money and put that above all the other shit I mentioned. Some people in America do that.
That is coming to this country.
I've answered your question.
Nothing in their pocket.
I've answered your question.
They're coming here knowing that it's as violent as where they came from. That's your answer.
I've answered your question.
Your answer is, I live in a cartel neighborhood in Mexico. Why don't I go to America that is just as violent as where I am with nothing in my pocket?
Because everybody ain't coming from a cartel neighborhood in Mexico. Okay, you can pay the worst.
Right.
If you give the worst example,
even more.
If you give the
even more, if they were nice and safe,
none of that.
Decided to move their
absolutely none of that changes. Absolutely none of that changes what I said. None of that changes what I said.
A deep look in that mirror.
Okay, I'm actually, it's my ears that's fucking me up, not the mirror. I'm telling you, there are people who put money above all else. There are people there are motherfuckers who go out and crab fish. As dangerous as that is because they can make a lot of money. Plenty of people go to more hostile environments. There are motherfuckers that go to the moon because they get paid a lot to be an astronaut. So the idea that it's more dangerous, and that's stupid. You're calling me stupid though. I take it as a compliment coming from you. I feel like it's an upgrade.
You hate America, and what you should do is just admit it. You should just tell everybody straight up.
I don't know.
I'm not about to hear both sides. I hate America, and I would like everyone to know how much I hate America.
I don't know what listen, everybody got their opinion of who hates America. What makes you say, let's go with
this should be called the handsome America hater. That's what it should be called.
Tell me what I do, what I say to indicate that I hate the country.
Everything this country does is wrong to you.
Really?
Everything. Yes. We kill people. Our ICE kills people. People are coming to this country. All they want. Why in the hell would they come to this country if they listen to you? Why? You are the commercial for staying the fuck out of the United States of America.
Okay.
We should be paying you. We should put you at the border, and we should make you live 24 hours a day, and that would be all we need. Fuck a fence. We don't need that. We need you to tell them that they shouldn't come here.
I'll tell you, like I just told you before, if you put me at the border, just the way I'm dressed may make people say, fuck it. Apparently, he still has more money than I am. I don't care how dang. Like I keep telling you, money make people do shit.
Listen to you? So you don't think they would take you seriously?
Not if they're money oriented. No.
Hey, listen, I agree. Not too many people do take you seriously. I don't see you being fair at all.
Not too many people take me seriously, but you hear every motherfucking episode, huh? I like that. Goddammit. Come on back and not take me seriously.
The reason is because, look, if you can't tell, I totally enjoy our conversations.
So do I, goddammit. So do I.
100%. You and I, we need to, get a prime time, put this on prime time.
We don't need to do that.
Absolutely we do.
We don't need to do that.
Absolutely do that. But I'm just letting you know, I'm just telling you.
Okay.
You don't like taking responsibility for the things you want to protest. You want to help these people, but you don't want to take the responsibility for it. And that's the wrong thing. Put your chest out. Puff yourself up. You got people on the front line stopping immigration from getting rid of people, and you guys are actually dying for your beliefs.
I got to move on, but let me just say this. what's really, when I say my ears is what's is fucked up. You're criticizing me for stuff, and yet you voted for a guy that's doing all the same shit, not taking responsibility, all of the stuff you're talking about. That guy does that, and you think his face. Hold on. You think his face should be on the front of Mount Rushmore? You said he does all the shit you accusing me of.
Get it right. He should be all four faces on. That's what I said. I'll say it again. I'll vote for him until he cannot run anymore.
All right.
At least 2 more terms, because he says exactly what. It doesn't matter that you hate him. When have you ever seen your impact on President Trump? You don't have one. None of you do.
Right. That's why he lost it in 2020, because we have no impact. I gotta go. Appreciate you coming through. Same thing with the midterms. He lost the midterms previously because we have no impact. Anyway, folks, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. What you just heard was another uncensored conversation. If you favor uncensored conversations from all sides of the aisle, you're in the right place. We take a lot of heat to deliver an entertaining program. And if you will, help your boy out by supporting the channel, those TikTok caps and hat and mustache. Show your boy some love. Yes, he says exactly what the racists are thinking, says CTD 007. Yikes. Eric Crystals liked it. Eric Crystal says win guest. Okay, fair enough. Real quick in the comments here. I am in the box, TikTok. Please, what do you say when you have a moment? We'll get to your handsome conservative. And looking in the comments here, Dark Side Rider says somebody needs to call ICE on this guy. Is talking out the wazoo. Listen, Straight Talk Commerce is passionate, like many of my viewers. We don't mind passionate viewers. We don't have to agree with them. They don't have to agree with us. It's all about free speech here, folks. So looking in the comments, by the way, and I don't know what's going on one of my YouTubes. I may have to end up resetting it. Trump is the best at what, I don't know what the rest of that. He's the best at what, and it stopped. So I can't see the rest of your comment, Carlos. I don't know what he's the best at. I have no clue. Straight Talk guy is off his rocker. Look, the Straight Talk, my last caller, as I always point out, he's the only person, and I talk to a lot of MAGA, he's the only person I've ever heard say he has never heard Trump lie about anything. That's a comment or a quote from my last caller. Let me go back to the comments. And Brent Travis says, you don't reply to comments. Who the hell you think I'm talking to right now? That's what people are saying in the comments. Let me go back to the box. Listen, for the few of you folks that do support the program, your comments, particularly on YouTube, they change colors. So all of those get red. But other than that, I got 5 screens aimed at me, folks. Comments are flying everywhere. So some of your comments, if they're just basic comments, are not going to be seen like that. We'll go back to the box and we'll make it happen with the handsome conservative indeed. Handsome conservative, good evening. Tim replies to, now I can't reply to all the comments. I got probably about 30 comments, damn near a second if you factor on all of them. I can't reply to everyone. Handsome conservative, good evening.
All right, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
All right, partner. Listen, first of all, I want to start off by saying, as always, support your local liberal. Okay? I'm going to say that.
Thank you.
That wouldn't be me if I didn't.
Thank you.
Second of all, I want to tell you something that happened to me today. I was listening to the Don Lemon show. Okay. Because you're talking about Don Lemon today.
Right.
And I think there was a mistake that they made. They said that they had a right to go into that church and protest. They do not have that right. That right does not exist. They said the church has never turned anybody away. That is correct.
Well, wait a minute. Let me interrupt you. I heard that. I believe what they're saying is they have a right to go in a church, not a right to go in and protest. Because you're right. Churches do not tell people not to come in. And by the way, is there any video footage whatsoever of Don Lemon actively protesting?
I have not seen much of any footage on Don Lemon. I can't tell you one way or another on that.
Because he does have a right to go into church, and you do have a right to record by video while you're in a church. So I'm trying to figure out where is his portion of breaking the law.
Can I make my point?
Sure, go ahead.
Like, I don't want to be like the last guy. I'm not trying to do
No,
that.
I'm only going to interrupt you when you say something. I don't want to, because if you're going for a minute or two, I may forget what I wanted to. I want to address your comments, but if they're too long, I'm going to forget portions. Go ahead.
Nothing but respect. I understand that. But listen, a church, just like a mosque or synagogue or whatever your religion may be, I'm Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say for churches, you have a right to go in and worship.
Okay.
You are always welcome to go in and worship.
Okay.
But there is no right to go in and protest. And I'm speaking of the protesters. You have a right to protest outside on the sidewalk, but what they did was illegal. And that's something that they keep saying on the Don Lemon show that they had a right to do. I watched it for 3 hours today, and I listened to them say it over and over and over again.
Well, I'm going to...
That's just my opinion.
Okay, I'm going to counter by, and this is what my last caller did not like, because I keep bringing up January 6th. The January 6th folks said the same thing about they had a right to go in the Capitol building while it was closed and not open to the public. They were saying the same thing. We have a right to go in here and protest. And I'm saying that, and I'm only bringing it up because it's amazing how different the administration treats them for doing something very similar to what the church protesters did. They were 100% saying it's the people's building, all of that.
Do you remember the last time I was on and I told you that we are not that far apart?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As far as the January 6th, and believe me, I'm as sick of talking about it as you are, but as far as that goes, I am all for them going and protesting. I am not for them going inside and causing havoc.
Okay.
That's where I draw the line. A protest is a protest, but going in, I'm with you. I'm saying you didn't have a right to do that.
Yeah, and I want to interrupt you real quick.
Peacefully protest.
Right, and I want to interrupt you and say this is one of my viewers in the comments is responding to our statement by saying, Mel Gillyhammer says the Capitol building is not private property of churches. If you're breaking windows and climbing, tell me what private property. It's 100% legal to bust windows out to climb in. Busting out windows and shit and climb. Go ahead.
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking it rhetorical to the audience and particularly to the individual that's saying it's the people's building so we can destroy it.
I'd like to answer that.
Sure.
All right. Here's my take on it. The Capitol building is not a private building. The Capitol buildings belong to the people.
Right.
Democrat, Republican, I don't give a shit who you are. Those buildings belong to you, not the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party.
Okay.
To the people they belong to. But when you go breaking in to something, when you go breaking windows, when you go breaking down doors, that's when it becomes illegal. When you go in to cause havoc, that's when it becomes illegal. You notice my name doesn't say the handsome Republican. I'm not on the Democratic plantation. I'm not on the Republican plantation. I think for myself. Yeah. Okay.
And I will submit this. City Hall is the people's building. So is the local chief of police office. We pay for you can't just walk into the evidence room because it's paid for by the taxpayers. I mean, the way MAGA addressed the Capitol building as if the government has no right to ever be able to close it because we pay for it. So that means no matter when you want to, because taxpayers pay for it, you can just walk in there. They cannot close it. They can't shut it. I mean, we pay for the Pentagon. I guess we can just walk in there anytime. I mean, it made no sense.
Right. And to correct you on one thing, a church it belongs to the people as well. If you are a Christian, I can't speak of synagogues or mosques or anything like that. I don't know about that. But the church is not a privately owned building. The church is where you go to worship. And anytime you go in there, you should go in there for the reason that you're there for, which is to worship. As far the last thing I want to say about Don Lemon is if he is guilty, I don't care if he's a rich man living in the lap of luxury with his white husband, I might add, because he's always claiming racism. Okay? If he did it, he is guilty and needs to be punished like anybody else. If he didn't, they need to let him go.
Well,
that's my opinion.
I'll tell you, the fact that a state judge already refused to charge him, and that they had to, the idea that this is went all the way up to Pam Bondi seems a bit ridiculous, though, conservative. I mean, listen, if he committed a crime, that's one thing. Why the hell is the president involved? This guy's not going to do a lot of time no matter what. Why is the president involved in this?
I can tell you that. I want to get to the other things that you're talking about today, but I will tell you this. I have watched since Trump was running for president again. And here's the truth of the matter. It's not really about Don Lemon. This is about party. This is about your party. And you got Democratic judge and you got Republican judges. And that's how they're voting. I'm going to stand up for my party in this courtroom. I'm going to stand up for my party in that courtroom. And this is all political. Understand that. They are loyal to their party, even judges, and they won't tell you that, but I've watched it for 2 years.
Yeah, but what about Pam Bondi? Is Pam Bondi acting and being political as well?
Oh hell yeah, Pam Bondi is.
Yeah, you do realize that in itself could be designated as a crime. She's going to pay for that. I mean, her law license, all of that.
Again,
go ahead.
Again, and I will say this: I trust no politician. I trust nobody in office because I'm not stupid. They're working for themselves. They are not working for you or me. They're working for their party. And by what I mean by their party is I mean putting as much money in their pocket as they can and getting as much TV time as they can.
I didn't see that. I'm going to tell you, though, conservative, I didn't see that out of Trump's first Attorney General Barr. I didn't see him doing all of this. This is way different than saying they're all politicians or they all. I didn't see. I mean, think about it.
It's getting worse.
Think about it this way. Virtually every adversary of President Trump.
Sorry about that. I had a phone call.
Yeah. Virtually every adversary of President Trump is currently under investigation or has been indicted. In a year's time, I'm talking schools, I'm talking businesses, televisions. I mean, like virtually every one of his adversaries has either been sued, is under indictment, or some kind of investigation. I didn't see that in his first term or anybody else's term.
I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying is he got elected for two reasons, in my opinion.
Okay.
Please understand it's my opinion. One, the lesser of two evils. Two, the Democratic Party put him back in the White House. I know you don't want to hear that.
I don't disagree. I think Biden has a lot to say. I think Biden is quite responsible for why Trump got reelected. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I told you before. What was her name? The vice president.
Kamala Harris?
Yeah, Kamala Harris was never going to win. Kamala Harris couldn't hold her own candidacy together. She got put into that position. So she sure as hell wasn't going to win. Besides, nobody wants a woman as a president.
That's a problem. Sorry. Why is that? Why? What are you saying? We're a country full of sexist?
Can I tell you?
Please do.
Can I tell you?
Please do.
Okay. One, women today cannot hold their families together. Two, wait a second, because I'm gonna give you a reason to laugh. Two, women change oil every 30 days.
Wait. Say that again.
women bleed every 30 days.
What the hell? And thank you for the hat mustache, shirt 14. What the hell does them having this? Wait, hold on. First of all, most of the women that run for president are in menopause, so they're not. What? But what does that have to do with it?
Okay. And three, I don't want to put a woman with a nuclear button that's having her period. I'm sorry. I don't want to do it. I'm not crazy.
Yet Trump is still going after the likes of John McCain and Joe Biden. You don't think he's emotional as a woman on his period?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
I said Trump is still going after the likes of Joe Biden and Liz Cheney and fucking John McCain. You don't think he acts like a woman on his period?
Yes, he does, but he was the less of two evils.
But you gave a reason. You gave your reason for why you wouldn't vote for a woman, and I'm saying a lot of the reasons you gave actually apply to Trump.
Hey, what did I tell you last time? I voted for Trump the first time. I did not vote for the second or the third. Okay? I voted for him for the first time because I believe we need a businessman at the helm. That is exactly what I told you. I did not vote for him the last two times because he was running on platforms I didn't agree with. Okay? Honestly, if anybody, honestly, he was just the less of two evils. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, you either want a crazy chick in office or you want a crazy
What makes you think
she pick?
What makes you think Kamala Harris was crazy though? Give me some things she's done to indicate she's crazy.
Okay. First of all, she supports abortion. Okay.
That makes her crazy?
Hell yes. I mean, look. Let me put it this way. She supports murdering unborn children and hiding it under the health care of women. Okay? I don't want some crazy woman that wants to kill half of the country running the country.
Well, first of all, she's not killing anyone. It's the mother of the child that's deciding this. She's not making anybody terminate anything.
But she supports it. And she's running for office.
Give me something else.
A Christian view. Okay. I'm coming from a Christian view.
Okay.
Not everybody's going to share that belief.
That is true. Most women don't share that belief. But give me something else that indicates she's crazy.
Okay. One, she was standing there with Biden on the White House lawn. I watched this, I swear to you. They were dancing or trying to dance or doing whatever. It was some kind of get together, okay? With a bunch of dudes wearing lipstick and dresses, okay? The bitch is nuts, okay?
So because she stood and partied with gay or transgender people, that makes her crazy.
Right. She didn't call them mentally ill. She called them normal. That's not normal. I tell you what, why don't you go in your closet, throw on a dress, some high heels, maybe one of them nice flower hats, and we'll have a talk whether I think you're crazy or not.
Let me ask you something, because you're not the first person to suggest that the LGBTQ community is not normal. And let me ask you, because when you look at a man trying to be a woman, I want to ask, how do you differentiate the abnormality of a man that's thinking he's a woman versus someone like Kristi Noem that's had all sorts of additions to her body and face that it goes against the way God originally designed her as well. So God didn't make you a woman, you just became one through your own work. God did not make Kristi Noem look like that. She changed herself very similar to how it trend. How do you differentiate? How do you make a difference?
Are you talking about plastic surgery?
I'm talking about lip injections, all of that stuff. Yeah, all of that stuff. What's the difference?
I'm with you. I'm a simple guy. I think women in general are amazing, beautiful, awesome creatures. When they start throwing on makeup, I just want to know what they're trying to hide. When they start fucking getting lip injections, I want to know what they're trying to hide. I mean, what is so wrong with a woman being beautiful the way she is? What are you trying to hide? Look, that's all I'm asking. You want to know what's in my bank account? I want to know how much you weigh. I want to know what you look like under that makeup. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's a even Steven thing. All right, that's all I'm saying.
How do you respond? I mean, I got viewers conservative that suggest you're a sexist. How do you respond to that?
I am a sexist. Damn right, I'm a sexist. And to the ones that don't like it, dude, what did they say when we were kids? Tough titty said to kitty when the milk weren't dry. I don't give a shit.
Do you? Let me ask you, because I got another viewer that sounds similar to you. Do you give hierarchy? Whereas, do you believe men have a hierarchy over women?
Okay, I am so glad you asked that. This is a stupid question. I'm going to tell you why. Women want to be equal to men. That is all I've ever heard.
Okay.
A woman cannot and will never be equal to a man.
Is she less than? Is she wait? If she's not equal, is she is she greater than or less than?
Absolutely not. May I finish? I'll explain it to you. A woman is a woman. She can be the best woman she can be, but she will never be as good as a man. As far as a man can never be a woman. A woman can never be a man. It's a lost cause. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. But you're painting a picture that a woman, as you say, cannot be equal to a man. So you believe a woman is less than.
I don't believe she's less than. I'm saying she can't be everything that a man can be.
Okay, when you say a woman can't, let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase it.
Things they are good at.
Let me rephrase it. When you say a woman cannot be equal to a man, I'm going to ask you: can a man be equal to a woman?
A man cannot do what a woman can do. A woman cannot do what a man can do. We are two different creatures. We are separate. We are supposed to complement each other, not be each other. That's the problem.
Okay. What are women trying to do that you believe they should not be allowed to do or that they cannot do?
Well, shit. I mean, I guess that depends on the situation. You would have to give me a specific. I'm sorry.
I mean, when you say a woman can't be equal to a man, in what reference are you talking about? Why is she unequal in something? What can't she do that he's doing?
Well, if you're talking about a job or something like that, I'm not saying that she can't be a lineman or she can't work in an oil rig or something like that. I'm not coming at it from that angle. I'm coming at it from a different angle. I'm coming at it from a woman can only be what she is.
But you also believe a woman cannot lead this great nation, is what you said, right?
Well, that part is true. I don't believe, and again, this is my biblical view. Call me wrong. I'm okay with that. Okay, biblically, a woman is not supposed to lead a man. A woman is not supposed to lead in Congress.
Is a man supposed to lead a woman? Is a man supposed to lead a woman?
Yes.
So when I ask you about less than, how is that not less than? You can lead me, but I can't lead you. That means I'm less than.
I'm just coming from a biblical stance.
I get it, but I don't mean a biblical stance. I'm just simply saying it doesn't sound like you're honest in your answers. You are painting a picture of less than, but trying not to call it less than.
But I don't think women are less than men. I think women are a different creature. They're different than men.
You're literally painting a picture of whoa, Mike. Appreciate that, Mike. You are literally painting a picture of boss versus subordinate and not calling it less than. You can lead me, but I can't lead you. So you can be the boss and I can be the subordinate, but I can never be the boss and you be the subordinate. That's less than.
Okay. All I can say is I'm coming from a biblical stance, If there's a problem with that, take it up with the Bible, as far as I'm concerned, because it says it right there in the Bible. A woman is to be silent in church. A woman is not to lead.
She's to be silent in church. Is that what it really says? Wow.
It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. Read the Bible.
I'm afraid to.
I understand.
I'm afraid to.
That, but it's biblical.
Okay, I gotta move it on, conservative. I'm glad you came through. I'm afraid to read it after that, but I gotta move it on. Thank you for coming through.
Wait a second.
Real quick.
One second. Support your local liberal. Okay, you can kick me.
All right. Thank you, handsome conservative. By the way, tap the screen, and he is right. Get the likes. We should be about 50 now. A lot of lazy thumbs in here. We're really taking a beating for your damn entertainment. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000. We'll take the next caller there. Tell him Jesus isn't white, says Tabby. And by the way, Dencal, I did see you there, says Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard, and Christy. No, I don't know what the hell Tulsi Gabbard was doing at the Fulton County election. I don't know what the hell that was all about. Dressed in a baseball cap and shit like that. Talking about looking like she's trying to dress down to blend in. Whatever they got going on with the election, that shit looks crooked as hell. It's been 6 years almost since the 2020 election. It's actually beyond the statute of limitation. What is the purpose of still going after that? I mean, why won't Trump take the L in regards to the 2020 election? I don't think there's even many Republicans in Washington that suggest he won that. His own administration, from Mike Pence to Scaramucci to Omarosa, none of them think he won. His own administration, Attorney General Barr, they all think he lost. Why won't he take the L on that? And now that he has sent his own people to investigate it, that's not a fair investigation. Who's going to believe what comes out of that? Where you don't already, listen, this is just like with the investigation into the deaths of Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretti. When you've already released incredibly biased statements, such as suggesting that Alex Pretti and Renee Nicole Good were both domestic terrorists, and that Alex was brandishing a firearm and he was an assassin, your investigation is shot. You've already revealed your hand before the investigation even took place. So if the Trump administration is the only ones investigating the deaths of these two people, there's no credibility in that at all. They've already indicated that they believe both of these people were justifiable deaths and that ICE did nothing wrong before the investigation took place. So they would be, for folks who suggest it's okay to prevent Minnesota from participating in the investigation because they might railroad, what do you think the Trump administration is doing? They've already made their conclusions before anything happened. And they've kind of doubled down on them. President Trump took to social media in the wee hours of the morning, posting a picture when Alex Pretti is kicking the tail light off a car and talking about how his stock is going down and things. You're a terrible investigator. Can you imagine if you were charged with a felony? You're trying to hire a lawyer and things like that. And the mayor of the town is making these kind of statements saying, I don't trust you guys to handle this case. You've already came to your conclusion. I want a third-party investigator. You guys have made it clear you have already had your mind made up. So I think Trump, in regards to the deaths of these two, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller calling the guy an assassin and all this shit, they should be kicked off of the case. Everything they've said has been pro-ICE and anti the deceased. They should be kicked off the case. They should have no access to it whatsoever. But yet they're taking control of it and kicking the state of Minnesota off of it. Makes no sense. Anyway, going back to the box and tap the screen, get us up to 35,000. The mayor and the governor of that town, Minnesota, are a joke. I wouldn't trust them. Then get a third party. There is nothing you can bring up about Tim Walz or Mayor Fry that excludes what President Trump, Kristi Noem, and Stephen Miller and all them have said. You can talk about how you don't trust him. You can't. That doesn't excuse that. He doesn't get a pass for saying all of that shit. Neither does Kristi Noem. So you can criticize the state of Minnesota, but the Trump administration has not come across as any more credible. There should be a third party. It should not be in the hands of the Trump administration. Let me go back to the box. We'll try to make it happen with Texas. Oh, I wanted to bring up Texas. I don't know what just happened there. It disappeared. We'll try it again. We'll go to Mike the Boss. Good evening. No, what is this? Christy Noam will be fired soon. She should have been fired the minute she released that awful statement about how he came at the ICE officers with a gun in his hand. Mike, good evening.
What's going on?
I'm in the trenches,
Crazy,
man.
crazy day.
I'm in the trenches
Crazy,
as
crazy
usual.
day.
I'm in the trenches.
Have you seen them E-files?
No, I have not, because I've come to the conclusion they don't matter, Mike.
Yeah. So when they released them, they were up on the site and then they were taken down.
I mean, that shit is a joke. You talk about, one of my viewers is talking about Tim Walsh as a joke and Mayor Fry of Minneapolis. The way the Trump administration is handling and dealing with the Epstein, it's a joke. I mean, that stuff is a joke.
And they did it again. They didn't redact some files properly. Have you seen some of the text? Have you seen some of the?
I haven't seen. I'm out of the loop. I know it just got released. Give me the Cliff Notes.
I'm gonna send it to you so people don't think, because it was up there earlier and then they took it down. They have some statements in this indictment for the testimony from one of the victims who was 13 at the time at Mar-a-Lago. They used to call them they listed as calendar girl giveaways or some shit like that. Hey, so if anybody has read that today, so everybody always, if you read if you know what I'm talking about today, put a one in the chat.
I see in the comments. Hey, what's that said? They were. Oh my God, they were wild. So apparently, give me a little bit of the damning information. You can send it to me, and I see a lot of folks putting ones in there. Listen, the left is going to read them. The right don't give a shit about it. That's how the left have their mind made up that Trump has violated the innocence of a young kid. The right either believes he didn't do it, or they don't give a shit about if he did.
Well, what was released today? What I read today. Somebody says sticky finger. He was named in the testimony. This young person was describing him and how he was touching them, checking to see how tight they were by fingering these young. Yes.
At 13.
And she named him and Eric and Don Jr. and Ivanka.
The whole family?
The whole family. What was the one? And two attorneys, Shapiro and who's the other one that still represents him now? Jewish guy. What's his name? Y'all help me out. And then I'm telling you,
Dershowitz. Somebody said Dershowitz.
Thank you. Dershowitz. It was supposed to be redacted.
This sounds like
And Muskie, and Elon, thank you. Yes.
How far back did this testimony come from?
I have the date on that one, but there were some other ones that were, the Department of Justice opened up an investigation during Trump's administration.
You know, because of all of the people involved, that's just going to make MAGA not believe that even more. Elon and Melania. It literally makes them sound like they're purchasing slaves and checking out the merchandise almost. You ever seen the movie Taken with Liam Neeson where the woman is spinning up there? You know, they said certified peer. She speaks English. That's what it sounds like.
Yes. Now, let me tell you something, Tim. And that's it. Now, somebody in the comments, I think it was NC Cowgirl, she said, fact check it. Listen. These documents were uploaded on the government website where they uploaded the documents. So, either credible documents, which I would argue they've been trying to redact them anyway. So, how much can you really believe from it? Anyway, what they're. But when you can take the document that was not redacted or was supposed to be redacted and see all the context and see all the data. What are you supposed to do with that?
So that mean Melania is a pedo and the kids too, huh?
No, Ivanka.
Oh, his ex-wife.
No, his daughter.
The one he would be sleeping with if she wasn't his daughter.
That's what it said. On the website. Now, that's funny you said that.
Wow.
It's funny that you said that. Because the first time I heard her name,
3 of them.
It made me think about all the times he referenced his daughter.
Yeah, he has. He has done that. Wow, that's crazy.
Hey, these aren't my words, y'all. These aren't my words. You can only fact check so far.
Yeah.
But it would make sense as to why they're hiding all this shit. I mean, it would make perfect sense why they're trying to hide all of this shit.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't think the Trump administration, I don't think Trump supporters care about this. Like I always say, I've been asking MAGA this question ever since
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've been asking MAGA this question ever since the January 6th hearings when they didn't believe any of that stuff. And I told them, if Trump did something wrong, committed a felony, and I'm not saying he did, but if Trump committed a major felony and he was denying it, who could tell you and you would actually believe it? And the answer is really no one. They're going to believe Trump. If Trump says what's coming out of those files, the investigation was by the deep state or left-wing lunatic, they're not going to accept it. There's nobody that can. If Trump is rejecting something or denying something, there is no hierarchy to that when it comes to MAGA. There's no one that can tell them what he is saying is a lie. So I don't know what just happened to my last guest. He dropped. But the point I'm making is the Epstein files are going nowhere with MAGA. There's nobody that can tell MAGA Trump did something wrong if Trump is saying he didn't do it. Nobody. So I don't see it going anywhere. Mike, I don't know what happened. Let me know in the comments. Mr. G says Trump and MAGA ain't shit. He said, looks like they are following the Putin playbook, arresting journalists. Don't be surprised if anyone comes up missing. They also went into a journalist's home and took her cell phone and shit like that. I got a video that's out there I need to rewatch. And I titled it, 5 Rights You Will Lose Under Trump. And that was the first one. I do remember that, freedom of speech. Because he was going at the colleges and universities at the time. Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. I mean, he does not favor free speech. I think that's pretty clear. Trump does not favor free speech. So, I think it's going to be difficult for journalists going forward. I can see that. I can absolutely see that. Looking in the comments, following the Israel playbook more specifically, is free speech you don't have a freedom of speech in Israel? I never heard of that. Only thing missing is goose stepping. What is that? Dumb Lemon is not a journalist, morons. What's your definition of a journalist? Don Lemon has been on... Don Lemon, what other history does he have other than being a journalist? He literally had a primetime show on CNN. He may not be a journalist that you like. Maybe you don't like his way of reporting or something of that nature. He definitely is a journalist. I mean, you can call it what you want. He is absolutely a journalist. Let me go back to the box. We'll continue to show and tap the screen, get us up to 50,000. You guys have been pretty lazy on the thumb tapping tonight. Support the program. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache TikTok go. How is Don Lemon not a journalist? I don't know, King Lemon, other than they just don't like Don Lemon, so they're going to discredit his profession. He absolutely is a journalist. And that's why I've been stating that unless they can absolutely show proof that Don Lemon went into the church and started protesting or something of that nature, it's not going anywhere. He literally went into the church with a camera and filmed it. No different, as I pointed out earlier in the program. If you know somebody's jumping out of a car to go rob the bank, and you're like, well, shit, I want to catch this on tape. Might work good on my social media page. If you go in there and film it, not taking part in the robbery, you didn't come out with any loot, you didn't threaten anyone, you didn't pull out a weapon, you're not committing a crime. If Don Lemon went into that church knowing they were about to protest and all he did was film it, he's not committing a crime. So I don't see any evidence being presented by the Trump administration that he was actually participating in any sort of criminal activity. But let me go back to the box. Stick the ruler. Good evening, Stick. This guy is a joke. He tries to sound like he knows what he's talking about. I would like for you to come up there, Ryan. You can certainly correct me. I'm not always right. Perhaps you got the answer. We don't block, ban, or censor you, Ryan. So come on over to TikTok or Instagram. We'll bring you up. We'll give you plenty of time to correct me. Stick the ruler. Good evening.
Man, Tim, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you.
What did I do wrong? And by the way, hold on. Before you said, I see Dencal saying that Don Lemon has been released without bond. I don't. Give me what you're sick of me. But before I go into that, I'll address Dencal. But give me what you think. What's leading you to be sick of me?
Man, I'm sick of you up here letting these crazy half-wit dummies that claim that they was in the military and they know this and they know that and we can take Greenland. Man, I swear I was about to lose my mind listening to this dude, bro. I'm over here frustrated as hell because I couldn't get to him. Like I want to, whatever rank he had, I want to snatch it off his uniform. He's stupid.
I assume you're talking about you're talking about Straight Talk Commerce. Sounds like.
Yeah, he's stupid as hell. Like the idiocy that comes out of his mouth, the hypocrisy along with just the dumbness. Like I lost brain cells listening to this man.
What did he say? What did he say that caused that?
Well, number one, he ain't never heard Trump lie. What the fuck?
Yeah, he did say that.
What are we talking about, man?
He did
like,
say
is he that damn dumb? Is he on Mars for real? Him and Lil Wayne be going back and forth to Mars or something? Like, I don't know what the fuck he got going on.
Well, his belief is it's not a lie unless you give bad information while knowing it's bad information. So what he is suggesting is when Trump has said things that didn't come true or didn't happen, Trump actually thought they did, therefore it's not a lie.
Number one, Trump is willfully stupid. So if you want to willfully tell a lie, you are a fucking liar. Because he's willfully stupid. It's too easy. It's too easy for him to lie. He lies too damn much.
I'm just telling you, the guy.
Seriously.
I'm just telling you, the guy don't think that Trump tells lies. Listen, it was just as surprising to me as it is to you. I don't think there's any politician that doesn't lie. So to suggest that Trump is 100% honest.
Tim, okay, so the sick of you part is the part where you just sit back and kind of just laugh at it, let it go. And what I don't understand is, how does TikTok let all of them lies come out of his mouth? He don't get banned, blocked, or censored by them. But let me come up here and say, I don't know, some shit like what's true. Trump, likes his daughter or some shit like that. And 9 times out of 10, I could probably get 5 minutes and I'll get a flag, I'll get a warning, I'll get something. This motherfucker come up here and just live on fucking Mars and tell us that we don't have rights and we should just let them just run us over and all this other shit. Oh, they shouldn't have protested in the church, but it's okay to wipe feces and shit all over the damn Capitol. It's okay.
I don't have an argument for it.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about hypocrisy. I don't have an answer for why MAGA views the January 6th protests favorably, and they view what's going on in Minnesota the total opposite when there's so many similarities between the two. Bringing a firearm, fighting with the cops, not complying. I mean, there's so many similarities. Yet one is viewed favorably and they're referred to as patriots, and the other side is domestic terrorists. I don't have an answer for that.
Well, my whole thing is this too, Tim. My actual number one complaint with you is always being first to goddamn request, and probably like 2 weeks, I ain't been up yet. I don't know. If you just keep. Because we've talked plenty of times in the past, we don't avoid anyone. The problem is, unfortunately, well, I won't say unfortunately, but the show has grown somewhat. So there's a lot more people trying to get through, which is why I've been discussing limiting the amount of time per caller. Every show when I log off, there's still dozens of people waiting to get. There's nothing I can do about that. Well, I'll tell you this. I'm not saying to copy nobody else's style, but maybe bring it down to like a minute or two, like Zeus or something like that.
I gotta give him more than a minute. I think some of these opinions.
No.
listen. I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying maybe just bring the minutes down.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, we've been up here 7 minutes, and for 3.5 you've been talking over me and da 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 da." Motherfucker, he ain't finna just let you just sit up here and talk. Now, you stupid. That for you to think that somebody's gonna have their show and let you sit up here and talk over them is fucking asinine and dumb.
Yeah, listen. Straight talk is passion. A lot of viewers are like that, but you're right. If I let you just go ahead and bloviate and go on and on and on, first of all of your points are not going to get addressed because you've been talking so long and I don't forgot shit and you don't have enough time. I don't know why anybody would want to do that other than you just want to run a monologue, which would mean you probably should get your own show at that point. But yeah, I mean that's just part of the nature of debating. People want to be able to talk as much as they can.
Okay, so now I got my gripes out the way, and I told you I'm tired of hearing the MAGA mother. I'm sick of them, Tim. I just really am. I'm tired of hearing the excuses and the lame ass, all of that. I'm just sick of it. Like, if you ain't got no facts, stay the fuck over there. That's what I mean. I know you like to have them up to hear the wild shit. DJ Julio used to get dropped all the goddamn time by TikTok. Not no more. Since TikTok done got bought, DJ Julio, that motherfucker that just got off, the commerce dude, and any other of them, they get to say whatever the fuck they want to. But as soon as we get up here and we start telling the truth, when we start saying that it's Schmurda out there on the streets with ICE, we get banned, we get.
I really hope that doesn't become the norm, because you're right. I'm starting to see folks complaining about censorship everywhere, and if the Trump administration, just like Elon Musk purchasing Twitter and changing it to X, if all they're going to do is replace alleged left-wing censorship with right-wing censorship, that's not an upgrade. That's just doing this, and a lot of MAGA are totally okay with Straight Talk Commerce. Even admitted it. They're okay with Trump doing everything that they complain that the liberals are doing back to the liberals. So all you're doing is just switching it from side to side. So you're actually you don't find a problem with corruption. You just want it done in your favor. And I'm hoping that doesn't become the norm.
Well, it's already the norm, Tim. It's been the norm. The first presidency is becoming the real norm, this presidency, because they loyalists. Don't nobody want to say nothing bad, and then the ones that can't really do anything as far as his supporters, they just don't want to be wrong. So they just gonna fall off the cliff with him. They're gonna run, jump, spread their hands, wings, and everything. He told us we could fly.
Yeah, and I'm watching while you're talking. ABC World News is on tonight, and they're showing a video of Don Lemon in the church, and he's not even by the protesters. He's standing off to the wall filming it. To me, that case is going to be dismissed. Unless they get a MAGA judge, I don't see that going anywhere. I mean, that guy clearly was not involved in the protest. Did he say anything? Did he yell anything? I don't see where, other than him, unless it's against the law to go into church and film, I don't see where there's a case on that.
Well, again, Trump is the one that likes to point the finger and say, go get him, DOJ, my DOJ. So it's going to go as far as at least charges, which you just say he just got out?
Yeah, he just got out. He's the lead story on World News Tonight with David Muir, which also plays into my statement of, for the MAGA to say they hate Don Lemon, they're making him a ton of money. They're giving him 15 minutes of fame. They're giving him subscribers and shit. They're making that guy a ton of money for a very flimsy and weak case.
Well, not only that, he's finna sue the federal government just like anybody else, like you was saying on your other show.
Yep.
So, Garcia Albrego or whatever his name is. Yeah, he's finna be rich. They already made Ashley Babbitt's family rich, but the reason they made her rich was because, again, she was a MAGA supporter. She was part of the Jan 6 thing, and she lost her life. Yes, she did, but she lost her life really on her own stupidity. You see somebody with his weapon drawn, you still going through the window. He's telling you don't do it. You was in the service. You should know better. Yeah. You should know better. You was military trained. You should know better.
They're not. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why.
You're not gonna talk to.
Yeah, I don't understand why they view.
Well, you're not going to talk to the MPs the way you talk to the regular police. So you know better.
Yeah, Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran, knew what she was doing was against the law. Then Cal says, was freedom of the press on your 5 lost rights? Yeah, it was the first one. First thing I said is your First Amendment right, which is press, assembly, speech. And the freedom of speech covers like 4. Flag burning was on there because he also talked about giving people a year in prison for burning the flag. I covered all of those. They're all on there. The way he went at the colleges and universities for, taking away federal funds because of Israeli protests and things like that. Yeah, the way he went at the Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon for talking about him on it. Yeah, all of that's on there. All 4 facets of freedom of speech was the first right I said you're likely to lose under President Trump. But I gave 5. I'll have to play it because I don't forgot, and I'd like to see how it turns out. Stick, go ahead.
Well, we already got somebody named Itchy that we call Negro Damas, but we can fit you in that too.
Negro Damas,
like that. Yeah, you get the title. Yeah, you get the Paul Mooney Negro Damas. So what I also will say is Miss Harris, she was not a bad candidate, and I'm finna tell you why, Tim, and I'm finna get off. The reason I'm finna tell you she wasn't a bad candidate, just like I just called you Negro Damas because you predicted the future, she surely did too.
Yeah.
You just wasn't listening, and a lot of the MAGA out there wasn't listening to what she said. She told you about
Michelle Obama said the same. Michelle Obama said the same thing too about the releasing the military in American cities, and you don't have 6 figures. Michelle Obama made a similar quote to Kamala Harris in regards to that. And it's not. I don't know if I would say it's that Kamala Harris or Michelle Obama were some kind of prophets. He was kind of saying this shit already.
Well, yes, and no, he wasn't. The reason why I say no, he wasn't was because remember, he said he wasn't proud of Project 2025.
Yeah.
But now, lo and behold, after she done already said he was, and they were talking about him basically, now he likes it. So again, she said everything that's going on right now while she was up on the podium, while she was speaking, just people wanted to say, I don't like her laugh. I don't like that. I think that she slept her way to the top. Everything and every job that she has, she was elected. She was not slept upon and cast away and done with.
I still think Kamala Harris. I just still think Kamala Harris was a bad candidate for the simple fact is she ran her own campaign before any of this stuff, and she did terrible even against Democrats. Stick. She didn't even do well against Democrats.
Well, you say she didn't do well against Democrats, and that's cool and that's fine. But once she got that presidency and being a vice president, and then she was running for president, again, when she was running against Trump this time on her own for those 100 days, she told you. So if you are still a person that says she was a bad candidate, you just was not listening. You just did not.
I don't think it's a matter of
she was fear-mongering. Hold on, Tim. You said she was fear-mongering. You just wasn't listening, because if we go back and we look at her tapes, guess what? She told you so.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of the fear mongering. I think it's simply put, Trump was offering American citizens and constituents a lot better shit than Kamala Harris was. I understand why even black people voted for Trump. He was offering a bunch. Now, he hasn't delivered on a lot of this stuff, but he was offering a lot of good shit. Kamala Harris was not offering. Kamala Harris was just saying, I ain't Trump. Trump was offering a lot of good stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to speak Maganese. So he was lying to you.
He didn't.
He was lying to you.
Well,
see how easy you can say
no.
He was telling us good things. But then now in present time, the effects of he was lying to you. He has done none of that shit. I'm gonna lower egg prices to I'm gonna own Greenland.
Stick.
He went from I'm gonna lower gas prices to I want to own Panama and take over Venezuela.
He changed a few. He changed a few things. He changed a couple things. He changed a couple things.
Stop
Stick.
See? Hey, I hope you bring a gangster grandma up and she eat your ass up. No homo.
He changed. Okay, listen. He's only been in office 25% of his term, so he still has time to deliver on his promises.
Nah, he ain't got no time. None of this is true. And the reason why you know and I know is because you've already been lied to. The first year was, and then this B minus shit. These motherfuckers with this B minus shit. Boy, y'all some curved ass fucking goddamn graders. Cause I don't know. Right now, you know what a B is?
B
on
is
the scale?
B is in boy. That's above average.
No, but you know what a B is on the rating scale now? Remember how B used to be like 90 to
it's
like
an 80. A B is an 80.
Yeah, 80 to 90 or something like that. A B plus was a 90.
What is it now?
Okay, now a B is like a 65.
Where the hell is that at?
Yeah, especially here in Florida. Oh, they got a good educational system, boy.
He is a 65 was
65 and get a B.
That was a D. That was almost failing back in the day.
So guess what they want? They want the kids to be stupid. They want the new generation to not know what they're able to do and what they're not able to do. In other words, they don't want them to know their rights. They definitely don't want them to know that you can be a card-carrying 2A person that went to a protest. You didn't flash it, but guess what? Even though you had that 2A right, we can take your life because you had it on you. Even though we disarmed you, we can take your life.
I don't like that. I don't like that because they're okay with right wingers bringing guns to protests. I got to move it on, Stick. I don't like the difference in how they're treating the protest, but as we started out by saying, it's nothing but hypocrisy. Stick, thanks for coming through.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right.
By the way, folks, tap the screen, get the likes up to 75,000. Bro isn't throwing the facts out there. What facts are missing, Chris? Thank you, a guy that is actually making sense. Thank you, because the other guy that we have, Straight Talk Commerce, he says Straight Talk asshole, doesn't know anything. So he favored my last caller. He said my last caller was making sense. He's not a fan of Straight Talk Commerce is quickly being one of the most memorable callers on the right. Will G says, don't forget all the media and social media is now owned by right-wing billionaire goons. I think about 70% of media is slowly but surely being owned by the right. That is starting to happen. And like I said, if the right did not like left-wing censorship and things like that, and they wanted to purchase the media so that we had more of a free speech platform, I'm all for that. You guys know this is a free speech platform. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody. You can be critical of anyone on this program, including yours truly. But if you're going to purchase the media from the left and just make it right, then what you're doing is no better than what you complained about. You're just okay with it now because it's working in your favor. And that does seem to be what we're dealing with the Trump administration. Whether it's a weaponized DOJ, whether it's bringing firearms to protests, criticizing the president, all of that shit. It seems like the right has an issue when the left is doing something of what I just stated, but the minute they're in control and they start doing it, they're okay with it. So we're okay with corruption as long as it's working for us. I don't see how that's any better because the idea that Biden, and thank you, Rapid, appreciate that, Rapid Reports, appreciate that. The idea that the Biden administration allegedly had a weaponized DOJ, and then you look at what the Trump administration is doing, whereas virtually all of Trump's adversaries have either been indicted or are under investigation. And we're talking or been sued. We're talking even colleges and universities and TV stations and shit. Virtually all of his adversaries have had a lawsuit, an indictment, or they're under investigation. That's about as weaponized as they come. Pam Bondi, literally the minute you get a left-wing administration in there that's not, her whole legal career is over with. I don't know if what she's doing is criminal, but it absolutely is corrupt as you can get. Sean B45, thank you for the TikTok cap. Appreciate that. So looking in the comments here before I move on, let me make sure I didn't miss the super chat there. Coming from Darkside, You are so right, Mr. G. All the right-wing crazy people own half or all the social media, which is stupid crap and all bullshit, says Dark Side Rider. Well, you know, to the victors, to the ones who spend the money go to spoils. But yeah, I do believe the right is just is totally fine with doing what they criticize the left for. I'll give you a good example. In the comments, Vince states, well, no, that wasn't Vince, but Grimaldo says, wow, bro, 34 counts, what do you call that? 34 felonies on President Trump. Many suggest that they stretched his cases to create 34 felonies because they just didn't like the guy. Just found some shit to go after him for. Many state that, listen, he paid the bank back with interest, and they're just finding something to try to arrest the guy. What do you think happening with Don Lemon? What do you think is happening with Don Lemon? That's what I'm saying. The right is okay with doing the same stuff they complained about. You heard folks on the right say, the more you go after Trump, the more you're making me like him. What do you think is happening with Don Lemon? You think his numbers and support is not growing from that? He's clearly being railroaded. You think the president of the United States should be getting involved with a church protest? How long did that shit go on? A few minutes? Maybe an hour at best? It's reached all the way up to the upper echelons of the federal government? How is that any different than the 34 felonies that folks suggest they pinned on Donald Trump? They are trying to pin shit on Don Lemon. Shopping for judges after the state judge refused to prosecute or better yet even take the case against Don Lemon. They went out and found one. How is that any different? So, yeah, the point being made is that many of the things the right complained about, they suddenly are totally okay with it when you do it to the left. Everything about Alex Pretti, and Renee Nicole Good for that matter, showed up to a protest, didn't comply with law enforcement, even brought weapons. How is that any different to the folks on January 6th that were all considered as patriots? Showed up to a protest, brought weapons. They had bear spray, pepper spray, were using flags. A few of them had firearms. They absolutely didn't comply. What's the difference? What's the difference? One's a patriot, the other's a domestic terrorist. What's the difference? So I do believe that MAGA is showing that they're okay with a lot of things they complain about, just as long as it happens in their favor. Look up Dennis Hassard, says Fishmonger. What would I find on it? Dennis Hassard. Riots in the court, Chicago 7. I don't know where that's coming from. Right, just went and found a judge after multiple judges declined to issue a warrant. Yeah, they went judge shopping to get Don Lemon. They literally went judge shopping. Let me go back to the box. Get us up to 80,000, folks. Tap the screen. Elected convict criminal felon in a pedophile protector as president and expect lawlessness, criminality, and illegality. What else would there be to expect? We'll see how history judges that comment. We'll go back to the box and we'll make it happen with I'm skipping through that for a reason. We'll go back to the box, fuck around and find out. Gen X. Good evening, Gen X.
What's going on, Tim?
What do I always say? Hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. I'm in the trenches, man. So, the death investigation into Pretti and Good. The Trump administration has blocked virtually all other participants. Only the Trump administration can investigate their death. And the Trump administration has already said ICE is innocent, and these two are domestic terrorists. Do you trust the results of the Trump administration?
Yeah, a lot more than I trust the fucking left.
Why don't you trust the left?
Because they're lying, manipulative, bullshit fucking people, man, that have nothing but a love for their own agenda and narrative. That's why.
So I
will say this. Kristi Noem dropped the ball. Pam Bondi dropped the ball, which brings me to my next point. Your guest, the handsome conservative,
This is why I agree with him that women should not be in politics. Those are Trump's liabilities.
but Gen X, they're part of the investigation. You said you don't trust the left because they lie and stuff like that. The right has already made significant lies on this. Why do you still trust them?
Because they lie a lot less than the left does.
Why not? Okay, so
both sides lie, right? Both sides lie.
So why not be more in favor of somebody else being? It could be the state of South Dakota. It could be the state of Wisconsin involved. Why, if you don't trust Minnesota and you don't trust Trump, why would you indicate that if Trump's administration is the only people that are involved in the investigation, you somehow trust the results? I don't get it.
If it's the state of Montana, I'll take it.
I don't get why you said you trust the Trump administration, though.
I said I trust them a lot more than I trust the left. Don't put words in my mouth. You like to do that.
Okay. I want to play this. You may have heard it, but I want to play it for the other folks. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers
Let me play this again. This is describing.
But the armed suspect.
You were talking at the beginning. I want to start it from the beginning. This is describing what happened with Alex Pretti leading up to his death.
Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Crowd control measures were deployed to bring safety to the public and to law enforcement at the scene. And once again, I want to remind everybody that this situation and this tragedy did not have to happen.
What is your opinion on that? Since the Democrats can't be trusted according to you, what's your opinion on that?
I agree with everything she said. She didn't say anything that was untrue.
He approached law enforcement with a 9mm. They attempted to disarm him and he got violent. They didn't attempt to they attempted to disarm him and then he got violent. That didn't happen. They disarmed him and killed him on the spot.
Man, he was fighting with them the whole way.
That is not what she just said. She said he approached with a 9mm. They attempted to disarm him. He got violent. He was killed within seconds of being disarmed. They didn't attempt to disarm him and he got violent. They disarmed him and killed him. What are you talking about?
They disarmed him during a struggle.
That ain't what she said.
If you got 5 motherfuckers on top of him, do you think when that one guy slipped in there and pulled that weapon, they all knew that he had the weapon?
Okay, she says no.
What she said is exactly what happened.
She says they attempted to disarm. If you attempt to do something, you're generally not successful. He had no problem taking the fucking gun off of him. What are you talking about? It was zero-ish. There was zero resistance to disarming that dude. He just reached down and took his gun off of him. They didn't attempt to do shit. They just did it.
Tim, you know what I'm doing tonight?
Lying.
I'm making an eggplant parmesan lasagna. You know why I'm able to do that?
I don't know.
I didn't fight with 6 fucking DHS agents with a loaded handgun.
None of that has anything to do with this fucked up statement she made of. They attempted to disarm him and then he got violent. They just reached down and took the gun out of his back. Attempt? How are you supporting that statement?
You're making it sound like he laid down, put his hands on the back of his head, and let him take the gun from him, and then they stood around him and shot him. That's not what happened.
They were beating him about the head with a can of OC spray. I think they were pistol whipping the guy. You're making it sound, or she making it sound like somehow, some way it was difficult to disarm this guy. The minute they saw the gun, they just took it out of his back. It was that easy. It was like reaching down and picking up a penny you see on the ground. They attempted to disarm him and he got violent. That is completely false.
If it was that easy, the man would not be dead today.
It was that easy, and the man is still dead today.
No, it wasn't that easy. I don't know what video you watched.
I haven't seen
any video again and again and again.
So the guy who was trying to disarm him was dealing with a violent guy.
Yeah, obviously.
The guy who disarmed it was just reached down, grabbed the gun, and just stood back up. That guy wasn't even involved in the struggle. He just reached down and grabbed this shit.
Let me ask you this, Tim. What do you think they thought when they realized who they were about to engage with? They saw someone who had been violent with them prior, so they treated him as a hostile suspect. He's already been violent. He kicked the light off officers. He committed a felony while having a firearm on him. That's another felony, which actually carries more time in the aggravation than the actual crime did.
I'll tell you this. Here's my issue on that, Gen X. With 11 days spanning between the two incidents, and when you think about these agents having to deal with so many, I'm not even for certain they remember him from 11 days ago. I mean, they've dealt with 11 days when people are protesting every day. They've encountered hundreds of people. I'm not even for certain they would even remember him from that event. So your idea that they just recognized him right off the bat like that, I'm not sure of that.
Did you? When you saw this video from the week ago, did you recognize him?
Yeah, because I didn't deal with hundreds of protesters in between, Gen X. They did.
How much video have you watched over the last couple of weeks? That's bullshit, bro.
No, that's not. I'm not. If I'm on the streets of Minnesota and somebody is blowing a whistle or spitting at me, and then I continue working that day, plus another 7 or 8 days, I guess they get a few days off. You work another 7 or 8 days, and every single day people yelling shit at you, blowing whistles. I'm not certain I'm going to remember that dude from back last week. I'm not sure of that.
Let me explain the mentality of your left-wing listeners. Now you got someone in your chat saying, I heard the video was AI. Well, listen to these people. They're fucking nuts. Now they're saying Elon Musk, Ivanka Trump. Mike had me screaming at my phone. How fucking stupid can you be? You believe this shit?
Let me ask you straight out. Do you believe President Trump even possibly took the innocence of a minor?
Nope.
Okay. Why do you think he's been so secretive on the Epstein files?
I think that there's a lot of other people that are going to get exposed, and I think that's kind of a silk glove kind of deal. I don't agree with it. I think they should just fucking let him go. But at this point, it doesn't matter. Because even if, hold on, let me finish the thought. Even if they released every single file, video, and picture, all the information, nothing redacted, the left still wouldn't believe it. They would still look for something else. If Trump wasn't in there, they're not going to be satisfied.
And I'm going to reply to that by saying that even if it comes out that he has done something wrong, you ain't going to believe it either. I think you are just as biased as the liberals you're criticizing.
Evidence. I would need to see this stuff called evidence.
Okay,
Legit evidence.
So what do you need to actually see him violating the kid?
Evidence, pictures, legitimate witnesses, not all the victims' lawyers saying that Trump had something to do with it.
Trump? Let me ask you: if Trump is saying that he didn't do anything, who would qualify as a legitimate witness in your opinion?
Legitimate corroborating evidence.
No, you said witnesses too. I heard the word witnesses come out of your mouth.
Let me give you an example. Let's say that the lawyers for the victims, it was even a 50-50 split. Half of them said, yeah, Trump had something to do with it. The other half said, no, both attorneys cooperated. Now you got a 50-50. Now there's an eyebrow to be raised. That's not the case. 100% of the victims and the lawyers said Trump had nothing to do with it. 100%, not 99. 100.
Yeah, but 100% said Trump didn't have anything to do with it because there was a whole lot of redacted information at that point. Apparently, that's not the case anymore. Some of the redacted information has come out, and it sounds like some witnesses have said he's had something to do with it. They only released the stuff that was going to be favorable to Trump. Now stuff is coming out, and it's not favorable to him.
I have seen nothing to that effect. Nothing. at all. Zero.
Would you believe it if you did see it? That's what I'm saying. Would you believe it if you did see it, though, Gen X?
If I saw it, well, yeah, I'm not fucking dumb.
Depends on who you're asking this show. But I'm trying to figure out who could. So there's nobody that could tell you he's guilty. You have to see it.
I've got this. I'm going to say this one more time because you're obviously not grasping this. I have to see legitimate corroborating evidence, real statements, real victims pointing the fingers, real shit. Not this made up left wing propaganda fucking.
How do you? But when you say real victims, if Trump is saying I didn't do this, I'm going to tell you based on what I'm hearing from you, you're going to suggest that person is not a real victim. If Trump is saying that this young girl or this now woman is lying about this, then according to you, following Trump, she's not a real victim. Just like E. Jean Carroll, that's a victim. You guys don't believe her.
Bruh. You're not fucking. You're just not grasping.
I ain't grasping it at all. It's slippery as hell. I can't grasp it. I can't hold it. It's so slippery. I can't grasp it.
If you have one person out of 100 saying he did it and 99 saying no with their lawyers, I'm not gonna believe that shit. If you have a lot, if you have it doesn't even have to be a majority. Let's say 30%, a lot more than one or two. Then I'm going to say, all right, well, maybe there's something to this.
What about E. Jean Carroll? The one that ended up winning an $88 million because he kept saying he didn't do it, and the jury even said he's likely assaulted her. Why don't you believe that one?
You mean the one that waited 30-something years to fucking report it?
Well, shit, this Epstein stuff is going to be years old, too.
I don't know if we'll ever get the Epstein stuff. But I want to address.
But before you move on, when you say we'll never get the Epstein stuff, that's where I'm baffled at, Gen X. When you say I can't grasp stuff, I don't grasp why you're not holding him accountable for simply being so evasive on letting us get the facts out. We know if Trump wanted all this stuff to come out, we would get it tonight. So he is hiding this. And he's not hiding it for a positive reason. To me, that alone should make you start questioning what he's doing. But go ahead, move it on to the next one.
Here's what I question. I question who he's protecting. That's what I question.
How's that any better?
I don't think it's not any better, but that's what I question. I don't question whether he's protecting himself, because I don't believe he is. But I do think someone's being protected, and I don't know. And it's not Elon Musk or Ivanka Trump.
I don't care if it's his next door neighbor, Gen X. If you're not a PDF, but you're protecting one, that don't make you any better. That's just like if you don't abuse a child, but you're carrying photos of a child being, it's still a crime. If you're actually defending or protecting somebody that did it, how does that make you any better?
We're not going to agree on this, Tim. We're just not.
I would sure like to know why.
We're not going to agree on
I would sure like to know why.
We're going in circles.
No, we're not. You can tell me why. Why don't you agree with that?
Because I don't agree with it. I think it's bullshit.
So if I'm protecting a PDF, you don't think that's the same as being one? Taking a long time there. You got plenty of time to answer that.
I think it's wrong. 100%.
Okay.
But hold on. I'm trying to word this.
Take your time. The hole is as deep as you want to be. Here's a shovel. Let me know when you're done digging. Go for it. I'm going to sit back and sip on something.
No. I think it's wrong. I'm not even going to qualify that. I think it's wrong. Okay? I'm not going to qualify.
You're too fucking late. You're too fucking late. Oh, my God.
Let me finish. But I understand, considering the fucking magnitude of people that could be implicated. We're talking about the Prince of England, for God's sake. And a whole bunch of other high-profile people, including the Clintons. Your beloved Clinton, who didn't show up to a fucking congressional subpoena.
You literally showed up as the fire department after the house was burned. You're too late to that one. Once you took that hesitation and indicated you don't see it's the same, tried to withdraw it. let's go to the next topic. That shit's over with. So, Don Lemon, what say you?
Now, you said that if Don Lemon followed a bank robber into a bank just to fill it, he's not committing a crime.
Yeah.
If a journalist follows a bank robber into a bank knowing that the bank is going to be robbed, is he committing a crime?
No.
Yes, a journalist who
What's
follows
the
a bank
crime?
robber into a bank knowing the robbery is about to occur is committing a crime, specifically acting as an accomplice, accessory, or co-conspirator. He has a duty to report knowing a crime is going to be committed. Journalists are not legally required to report crimes, but if they are involved in the planning or execution, their reporting does not shield them.
Yeah, I agree if he's involved in the planning or execution, but if you're a journalist...
He knew about it.
But you don't have...
Did you see his interview?
No, you don't... Listen,
Interview?
that would be just like saying the folks who filmed Black Lives Matter burning down streets and shit like that. You see a guy with a Molotov cocktail or somebody yelling, burn this motherfucker. You know he about to commit a crime. So you're saying because he filmed it, he should be charged as well?
Yes. Because he knew what they were going to do. He literally turned off his camera. He was doing the interview. Well, I'm here with so-and-so. And said, oh, we've got to go ahead and we've got to shut the camera down because they're going into the planning stages and the execution of this operation. Boom, right there says he fucking knew what they were going to do. He was part of the conspiracy. He was a co-conspirator. That video alone is going to fuck him. So if he didn't have that one little tidbit, that one little thing, I agree with you. He'd get off it.
Yeah, Gen X, that's not the law. Not to mention all the people who brought cameras in January 6th. They all filmed that shit.
I just said it to you. It's conspiracy. It's complicity.
It's not. I don't have a counter argument. We're so far apart on that because I think you're so wrong on that. I don't have a counterpart to meet you in the middle. Filming somebody else committing a crime, even if you know they about to do it. Let's say you hear somebody outside telling their wife, I'm about to fuck you up for what you did. And you go and get your phone and you film it. You knew what he was about to do. Somehow you're all of a sudden criminal because you filmed something. I've never heard somebody say what you're talking about.
You have a duty to report.
No, you don't. No, you do not.
Especially a violent crime where there's going to be an injury. Yes, you do.
No,
it's the law. I just read it to you. It's the law, Tim. Pull it up. I'm not making it up. Google it.
I don't have. I'll Google it after the show. That's crazy. If that is the law, which they didn't charge him with that, by the way, but if that is law, you're right. But they didn't even charge him with that, suggesting he has a duty to tell what's about to happen. They didn't even charge him with that. So I don't know where that's coming from. I gotta move it on, Gen X, but I don't think you're right about that.
Money in your chat says Gen X needs to turn his oxygen up. Tell your mama to give me back my oxygen machine. I'll be glad to turn it up.
Oh my God. Gen X, always a pleasure. Thank you. All right,
brother, peace.
You too. All right, moving on with the program here real quick. Mr. G says, whether you like it or not, cooking business records is a felony. Done multiple times using campaign funds for prostitution is a felony. Is that the whole Stormy Daniels paying a porn star? Is that what you're talking about? And I see Handsome Conservative says, I made a friend. Nothing wrong with that, Handsome Conservative. Mr. G says, they will use your past to justify your execution. Yikes. I do believe what they're talking about with Alex, what is his name? Pretti, bringing up what he did 11 days ago. If it comes down to, deciding whether or not ICE was culpable in wrongfully killing Alex Pretti, I don't believe it would even be admissible to bring up what happened to him 11 days ago. I don't think they could even use that. I mean, because listen, if I go out and do something bad, do the cops get to kill me 11 days later? That ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right now. Him spitting at them, him kicking. Only way what Alex Pretti did 11 days earlier would have anything to do with his death is as if we are going to openly admit the cops were taking revenge for what he had did. That's the only way that matters. That's the only time what you did in your past that far back. Like let's say you're on a street committing capers and you got enemies on the street. And all of a sudden somebody comes by and does a drive-by or something like that. And when they're caught, They bring up, well, he came to my house 11 days ago and threw a Molotov cocktail. It's revenge. That's the only way that works, is if we are admitting that ICE was taking revenge on him for something he had did before. That's the only way I can see that. They had his phone pinged, which I don't think that's even legal. You're saying that they had Alex Pretti's phone pinged so they knew where he was at? That's not legal without a warrant. How do you ping? You can't just track somebody down like that? That in itself is that would be a crime, something that they wouldn't admit. They just was ping his phone and follow him around and know where he's at, but they would never tell you they did, because that's not even legal. Your boy is all over the fouls, bad stuff, says Rooster. Yeah, Mike said he's on the fouls and allegedly fingering minors. Wow. 34 counts each child, says Joseph Miller. Ooh, that's bad. Darkside Rider said it's like waiting on Jeopardy. You missed the buzzer. Okay. Shine B, they have their marching orders. Get out there and protect the king. And I do believe that when it comes to ICE, I mentioned this earlier in the show, and I'll go back to the box. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is Uncensored Programming. I do need you to do me a favor. You're watching on YouTube and smash that like button. It helps out the algorithm. I don't say it as much, but if you're watching on YouTube, take out a quick minute and smash that like button. Thank you in advance. I believe ICE is like I said this earlier. I believe ICE should be treated like a unstable grenade. Obviously, you don't go up against them committing crimes, throwing shit at them, spitting at them, swinging at them, trying to hit them. All of that's a crime to begin with. And if you do that, you can't argue with them being violent to you. But my point is, I don't believe you have to do all of that. I believe you can do quite a bit of things to ICE that you are constitutionally protected in doing and still receive a violent response, such as blowing a whistle. 100% legal to blow a whistle when they come around to warn people that they are there. That's what you hear those whistles for, is to let the folks in the neighborhood know you got ICE in your neighborhood. Blowing the whistle is 100% legal. Filming them is 100% legal. Now, they can tell you to get out of the street or don't block their path like we're, claiming Renee Nicole Good did. But I'm going to submit to you, you don't need to do any of that to be on the wrong side of ICE. You can be filming them from a perfectly safe location and they will walk up to you and fuck with you. There are plenty of videos floating around like that. So the idea that as long as you're following the law and complying, they won't mess with you, that is not true. You have a right, if you're doing nothing wrong and you're an American citizen, to simply say, I don't answer any questions from law enforcement. Usually the response, the follow-up is, am I being detained? Am I free to go? You don't have those rights with ICE. Those rights with ICE are negotiable. There's no guarantee the ICE agent talking to you is going to adhere to that. You should handle them, as I stated, like a very unstable grenade. I suggest not be around them at all. These folks will kill you, and it doesn't have to be justified. This is a dangerous form of law enforcement. They are not just there to protect the border and make sure folks who are in this country with no documentation are dealt with. They are there to intimidate. They are there to inflict violence and fear. This is a force to be reckoned with that you should not be near. So I don't know what your level of respect is in law enforcement. Do not apply it to these guys. That's my opinion. Do not apply it to this is not your typical beat cop, your typical state trooper, none of that. These people will kill you with little to no provocation. And they have the blessing of the President of the United States. The minute Alex Pretti and Renee Nicole Good lost their lives, there was no, from the Trump administration, there was no claim of, we need to let a full investigation complete before we release a statement. Listen, this just happened a few hours ago. You're asking questions too early. No, the response was to condemn the deceased and defend the officers. That is the default position. We're going to defend the officers no matter what happens, and we're going to condemn whoever they were dealing with. This is not a group of people you want to be around. law-abiding or otherwise. Anyway, looking in the comments, and I see Animal 231 says, "How tyrannical is that?" I'm just giving you my spiel. Some people will disagree with that, but to me, it's like being around an unstable grenade. You don't have to shake it. You don't have to pull the pin. You don't have to vibrate. It can go off on its own. Period. It can go off on its own. You don't have to do anything to make it go off. You would feel better if they said the words you want to hear. Don't know what you're saying there, but I believe they've said plenty to back up what I just said. Snatching people's phones out of their hands and shit like that. Telling somebody, if you raise your voice, I'll erase your. They've said plenty of stuff already. I mean, there's plenty of videos already. Looking in the comments, exactly 100% they joke. Better yet, they poke the bear and complain when he eats them. I have no sympathy for people who actively put themselves in danger and then cry because something dangerous happened. Yeah, it's like literally walking down the street and getting attacked by a pack of dogs. You don't have to do anything. Just being in their vicinity can put you in danger. And there's plenty of videos of people facing a bad outcome just because they happen to be at the same location as ICE. It ain't all a bunch of people that's spitting on them and swinging at them. Some folks are just simply walking down the street and they start fucking with them. There's an African-American man where a whole SUV full of ICE agents just drove up and sprung out on him. All he was doing was walking down the street. So, yeah, you don't have to be actually breaking any law to be able to find yourself on the wrong side of ICE. Kabir, good evening. Welcome to the program. Tim is the top dog of you on YouTube. Not yet, Vincent. Long way from that.
Well, Mr. Tim, you finally brought me up.
Oh, we tried. Give us time.
How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. We're a work in progress. So what we're talking about is the Trump administration.
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, what we're talking about is the Trump administration. They are the sole investigators into the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Pretti. They're not letting any third party get involved. Do you trust what results they come up with?
No, Tim. You know, that's like letting the wolf in the hen house. Nothing good is going to come out of that. They're going to write their own narrative, and it's going to be their own way. Can you hear me, Tim?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Am I talking loud enough?
Yeah, I can. There may be a delay, but I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So they're going to write their own narrative. I don't trust it. Yeah. They lied too much.
Give me an example of something they lied about, because a lot of my viewers do not believe that the Trump administration lies and that the liberals are just saying this. Give me an example of what you're talking about.
Okay, well we can look at let's look at Venezuela, right?
Okay.
So first it was the shrugs.
Okay.
Then it was the oil. Now we got the oil and found out the oil isn't worth trash.
But
you understand? It's just you can't keep up with his lies.
Well,
but Toddler tells better lies.
But wait a minute.
Doesn't even tell as many lies as the Trump administration.
But wait a minute, and I will say hi, Angel Jackson. Good evening to you. I will say this. There has been no proven lies on Venezuela yet. They stated that they were blowing up drug boats to prevent dangerous narcotics from coming into America. Now, he didn't prove that narcotics was on these vessels, but it also hasn't been proved that there was not narcotics on the vessel. So there's no proof he actually lied about that, Kabira.
But Tim, look, there's proof that those boats weren't even coming to America.
What proof is that?
Right?
How do you
remember that?
No,
they weren't on their way to America.
How do you know?
Okay, the way the schmugs work down there is those people were taking it to the Caribbeans. Now the Caribbeans isn't going towards America.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not
disagreeing. Come on, you saw it in the news.
Yeah, I'm challenging you because that's what we do here, but I don't disagree with you. I do believe the Trump administration should have done a lot more. I mean, now that they're no longer taking out drug vessels off the coast of Venezuela, and we control the country, according to President Trump, There's no legitimate reason for why they don't show us why they blew those boats up. At this point, there's nothing stopping them from telling us what went on. So I don't know why they're not telling us.
Well, because they lie, and Trump doesn't want to look. This is a, you know what show. I'm not going to fuss because I respect your platform, but you know what kind of show this is. And I can't wait for this man to get out of office and everybody to get their comeuppance that deserve it. You know, we got stormtroopers in the streets. This man, he's mentally, a mental deficit. You know, he's withering away in front of our eyes. He's got the creepy crud hands, puffy legs. You know, this madness has to stop. Maybe MAGA with Trump need to go over to North Korea. I'm just tired of it, Tim. Every day is something new. You know, I sometimes I say I can't watch the news today because it's so depressing. You know, it's something. It's something. You do better off living in the hood, being around gunshots. This is just madness.
Has the man done anything right for America, in your opinion?
No.
Nothing.
The country is divided. The country is divided. As a matter of fact, this content creator, he lives in the Netherlands, and he was a big MAGA supporter, and a lot of American Democrats would go on his live. How can you support Trump? You don't even live in this country, blah, 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 you know. And he woke up. You know, he realized that it's a cult and Trump is of no good. And I guess he finally woke up with the threat of Greenland.
Well, I'll tell you,
and how Europe is slowly pulling away from the United States. Now, he lives in Europe.
Yeah, but
so I'm getting the facts from him in real time on how Europeans are viewing America now. In spite of the bull crap, Trump is telling us Europe is pulling away from the United States.
But I'll tell you something, Kabira. I'll tell you something, Kabira. There is also a growing MAGA movement. In fact, there's a Make England Great Again movement. They're viewing Trump almost like a leader. They're wearing the red hats, MEGA. The anti-immigrant sentiment is growing in a lot of European countries. So it's the governments of those countries that are not favorable to Trump because he's so critical of the government. But there's a lot of citizens in those countries that like what Trump is doing for America, and they want that done in their countries as well.
Well, you know what, Tim? I hate to say it like this, but I'm going to put it like this to you. White folks, no matter where they are, they cause problems all over the world. They don't like nothing but white. They don't want no brown, no black, no yellow, no red, no green, no polka dot around them, and they destroy everything. Just look at the history of the world. These people have problems. These people have mental issues, and I hate to say that, Tim, but it's true.
So
they go and colonize stuff. They make everybody else look bad, and it's them. I'm so sick of them and their shit. I can't take it no more, Tim. I'm glad I'm 68. I ain't got that much time left on this planet. I feel sorry for people like you that's got to be bothered with this bullshit that's going on. And these white folks, not all white folks, but them over in Europe, they brought that nasty shit over here in the United States. They brought it down in South America. They brought it over to Africa. They brought it over to China. Every place they touch, they destroy, and they say, you're the problem. No, you're the problem. You come over here creating chaos. That's the way I feel about it, Tim. I'm
Listen,
sorry.
I'm a show where I'm all about free speech. I mean, I get MAGA that express their feelings. There's nothing wrong with you expressing yours as well. I'll tell you this. Anytime you see, whether it's a drive-by or a mob robbery on YouTube or some social media platform, there's a lot of folks that will look at African Americans acting a fool on the internet, fighting in Walmart or in some McDonald's, and you'll see in the comments, it's in their culture. That's what they're like. Are you suggesting that colonization and racism is part of white culture?
Yes, I am. Look at the mafia. Look at the KKK or the Triple K, whatever you want to call it to be politically correct on Trump land, TikTok. Look at these little white nationalist groups. Tim, they are the biggest perpetrators of violence. Now, I'm not saying all white folk. I'm not saying that. But you can best, let's put it like this, as Muhammad Ali said, you got 10,000 snakes at your door. They trying to get
I know how this goes. Keep going.
Good.
Repeat it.
Right?
Go ahead and finish it. Finish that statement.
Are you gonna open the door and let them snakes in, knowing there's 100 good ones in, but 9,900 of them are bad? No, you just gonna keep them all out. So not all white folks are bad, but God darn it, you know what I'm saying, Tim? Come on now.
Something.
They had these Irish gangs. They have gangs. They perpetrate fraud. Look at what we got going on. Trump is the biggest gangster, and he's running a government, and he got all his goons behind him.
Why do you think so many people see Trump differently than you do? I got people who tell me Trump should be on the front of Mount Rushmore. Best president we've ever had. Did I lose you?
Trump should be on the front of every Charmaine toilet tissue. No, you didn't.
You want to wipe your ass with the president? Is that what you're telling me? Is there anything this man can do to make you feel a little bit better about him?
But I say that's what Trump. That's Trump. Open your mouth, because here it's coming. He need to be on the face of Charmaine toilet tissue. That's where he need to be on. Well, he hasn't done anything great to be on Mount Rushmore, truth be known.
That's a good point. I'd like to talk. I'd have to get some MAG on here and question them on what they believe Trump has accomplished to put on the front of Mount Rushmore. I'm sure they could give an answer. Jake in the comments says, Trump, baby, he is a legitimate businessman. You call it gangster. That is hilarious. So they favor Trump because they say he's running the country like a business, Kabira. And we need a businessman is what they say. What say you?
You cannot run a country like a business. A country is not a business. A government is supposed to be for the protection of the people. That's what governments do. They are for the citizens of that country or county or city or state. State, local, and federal government.
Right. Well,
you cannot run a country like a business.
Well,
it is impossible.
Perhaps some.
You want to cut here? Well, let's cut. Go ahead, Tim.
Perhaps some aspects of a country can be ran like a business, though, right?
No.
None.
Look at what happened. Look at what happened when we tried to do Doge. Now he let all those little 19-year-olds in there. Who knows where our information is? Matter of fact, Tim, where's my $5,000 Doge check that Trump promised? There was a lie.
You'll get it next.
$2,000 tariff check that Trump promised he was gonna.
You get it next Tuesday.
The lies, Tim. Well, as a matter of fact, no tax on overtime. Tim, I'm not gonna put out how much money I make a week, but I make a nice little grip a week. You probably couldn't even fathom what I make. Don't you know half of my stuff went and federal government got a lot of it. I said, Trump, he's a liar. And these people bought these lies, no tax on overtime, no tax on tips. I'm still waiting at my mailbox for this Doge check, Tim. It ain't came yet.
Well, the no tax on overtime and no tax on tips, really, you only realize that during income tax time, and it's capped at $25K. So if you're making a killing, and it's particularly in overtime and taxes, most of that ain't going to be covered.
Well, it's the point of the matter that the man lied. He just lied to get elected. The only thing he kept his promise on was mass deportation, but it's the way he is doing it. I know MAGA will say, personally, I couldn't give a damn what MAGA thinks because they don't have a brain the size of a pea, right?
Oh, wait a minute.
But you put these goons in the streets.
But when you say putting goons in the street, how do you respond to folks who suggest you would have no goons in the streets if Biden had not opened the borders, letting in some of the worst of the worst? What say you?
This is what I say, Title 42. And if the people in the chat don't know what Title 42 is, I advise them to read up on it.
Well, give us a
So
summary.
you really have the Supreme Court to thank for the. All right, so Title 42 went like this. When C-19 was in full-blown effect here, Trump instituted Title 42, which he was correct, which means no one can come into the United States because of C-19.
Okay.
Then we had the election, and Biden took over. Biden wanted to keep Title 42 in effect. The Supreme Court said no. Let the gates open because C-19, which it really isn't over, it's just curtailed much. It was put in place because of C-19. C-19 isn't as strong as it can be. Title 42 is no more. And that's when the floodgates of hell open. So you have people weaseling and scammering like roaches when you turn on, you turn on the light, they scatter, right?
Yes, I'm aware
This
of
is
that.
what happens. And I'm not trying to say that undocumented people are roaches. I'm not trying to say that. But this is the effect that it caused. And a lot of people don't know this. He let the floodgates open. And so then they say, well, what they call her, what do they call Harris? They call her they don't pronounce her
Kamala.
name right.
C-U-M.
She was supposed to be the border czar. No, her job was to go to South America and find out what was the economic problem that were causing these people to come to the United States. You know what I'm saying? So people are there. I feel sad, Tim, because I have to share a country with a bunch of ignorant people.
Well, at this point, they're going to be leading us for a while. So you're going to certainly have to get used to it because MAGA ain't going nowhere. Kabira, I'm going to have to move it on, but they're here to stay. And they're talking about 2028 giving Trump a third term. Can you bear it?
No, Trump ain't gonna. Trump's ass is gonna be eating dirt in 2028. He ain't gonna last too much longer.
You don't think Trump has? You don't think he has?
He'll be having a dirt nap.
You're saying the president doesn't have a mere 3 more years above ground?
Have you looked at him, Tim? He looks like he's on his last leg, and they talk about Biden. Trump looked like he's on his last leg waiting on that dirt nap. He's just too trifling to lay down. But it's coming. And when it comes, it's going to be a party in the streets. And I'm going to be the first one throwing a big block party.
You would literally celebrate the demise of our commander-in-chief. You would celebrate that as a party?
Well, you know what? Let's put it like this. I'm not going to cry.
Okay, that's better. That's better. I'm not going to cry. That's better. Yeah, I got a lot of folks in the comments.
Emotions is talking right now.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Yeah, party like it's 2028.
He ran a campaign on triggering emotion, so I get the emotion thing. I got to move it on to Kamira. Sound like it's a little bit of a delay, but you're always welcome back on the program. Sorry we missed you a few times, but we're certainly glad to have you back up. Kamira, thank you.
Oh, it's I just had to raise tail so you could bring me up, Tim. But thank you. Yeah, I'll be popping back up from time to time. You
Appreciate
have a good one, brother, and take it easy.
Thank you, and thank you for your support as well.
All
Moving
right.
on with the program, tap the screen, get us on up to 120. 100, HUNNIT. Get us up to 120. Yes, and we will burn his merchandise on our barbecue. Says I'm done. You guys want the president to pass away? You guys are mean, really mean. I would a hootenanny barbecue and live music, all after the president's demise. Says Tammy. You guys are mean. The point that you're even entertaining a third term says a lot about your mentality as an American and as a person that knows our government law. This black man focused too much on titles. Don't know about the last part, but there are a lot of folks that want Trump to do a third term. Now, I've said this several times. There's a lot of Americans in this country that would support President Trump doing a third term. Currently, the midterms haven't happened yet, but currently, there's a hell of a lot of folks in Washington that would support and or enable him to have a third term. The problem is Father Time remains unbeaten. Even if he could get all of the parameters in place to legally do a third term, Father Time is not likely to elect him to a third term. I don't necessarily say the same thing that my last guest said, that he's going to be taking a dirt nap or any of that. I'm not going to say any of that, but fact is, President Trump will be 83 in 2028. So we're suggesting that between the ages of 83 and 87, he would not only be alive but viable to run the country. That's asking a bit much of any human being, to maintain. Listen, a lot of folks like Trump because of the schedule he maintains. The fact that he'll do lengthy interviews on television. He can go and hold campaign rallies all over the place. 83 to 87, that ain't happening. I think we all know elderly folks, maybe even have been related to them, that seem perfectly fine, had one fall or one illness and just were gone within a few months or so. At that age, anything can take you out. 83 to 87? Father Time is unbeaten. So I'm just going to simply say, I don't think it's likely at all that Trump will do a third term simply due to age. I'm not saying he couldn't do it. I'm not saying there would not be support for him doing it. I'm not saying he wouldn't be able to finagle Congress and the law to do it. I'm saying Father Time ain't going to give him that. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Trump's own words, I didn't want to have to be president. I don't know if you could always take Trump's own words at face value, though. I mean, Trump says a lot of stuff, and it's like, well, pay attention to what he does, not what he says, because he says a lot of stuff that, it is what it is. MAGA's Orange Jesus is old as fuck. But I'm serious. Father Time remains unbeaten. I mean, you've seen his legs swelling and shit like that. You want to add another... Remember, we're suggesting that when you look at President Trump right now as we speak, that his health is good enough that he can do 7 more years as president. Because he got 3 left in this term, and then he'd do another 4. You're suggesting that this man has 7 more viable years in one of the world's most difficult positions. I think that's a tall order to fill. That's just my opinion on it. I think that's a tall order to fill. Going back to the box, we'll make it happen with Mary X. Good evening. Welcome to the program. The ones in the chat speaking bad about the caller are the ones she is talking about, says Protective Guardian. MAGA, good evening.
Yo, where do you want to start?
We can start with Don Lemon being taken into custody. Do you think he legitimately is a criminal?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't just show up and record. He fucking coordinated with them. He met them in the parking lot, drove together with them. I mean, he was part of it.
Okay, even if he met them in the parking lot and found out where they were going, did he participate in what they did? Tell me how he participated.
I mean, he went inside with them and he interrupted church services with them.
How did he interrupt? What did he do in terms of what was he doing to interrupt it?
He went in there for other reasons than to pray. And, it's a private church. And he showed up uninvited. And he had no purpose of participating in the church service.
Participated in what way? Because you say he went in there not to pray. Listen, I might go to church to holler at some girl. That ain't a crime, though. Just because you can go to church without going there to worship, that alone is not a crime.
It is if you interrupt services.
I'm not even
go in there to holler at some girl and you tell the priest to, pull a Kanye and be like, I'm gonna let you get back to church. Just let me holler at this girl real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I've seen women go to church because the pastor cheated on them, slept with another person, and actually made a fool in church and interrupted service. She never got charged by the federal government. There are people you can see videos on YouTube. People have gotten in fights in church. I didn't hear the federal government charge them. Interrupting church service.
Well, this is also politically motivated.
Yeah,
Those are not really
that's what
politically
exactly. It's politically motivated. The federal government is acting as an arm of the president because, as we're talking,
motivated. I'm talking
people.
about him interrupting the services is politically motivated.
But that ain't got nothing to do with the federal government. Don't charge you with a crime just because it's politically motivated or politically oriented, unless they're politically oriented.
No, that particular crime has a political requirement to it. I believe. I don't know the.
Yeah, I don't believe the crimes he was charged. I don't believe the crimes he was charged would carry some kind of political designation to him.
Are you familiar with it?
The FACE Act, and what did they charge him with? They charged him with the FACE Act, and the other one was violate conspiracy to. They charged him with conspiracy to deprive rights. Whose rights were violated?
The freedom of religion rights.
But then that goes to what I'm saying. If a woman comes in there arguing with the pastor, she's interrupting service as well. If you have a
so they can charge her too.
And they don't, and that's the problem. That's the problem, MAGA. They don't. That's the problem, MAGA. Nobody else gets charged with this. People interrupt church services all over the damn place. Nobody gets charged with this stuff.
Well, in this case, it was a huge interruption. It wasn't
Not
some
huge.
randomness, and it was planned. That's where you get the conspiracy. You know, I'm sure the women didn't conspire to
You don't
interrupt.
think the woman that goes in there?
Shitty ass example as your example.
You don't think the woman that goes in there that wants to tell everybody the pastor cheated? That ain't planned.
Hey, would you be happy if the KKK interrupted a black church service?
No, I wouldn't be happy about it.
Oh, some woman in some random church interrupted, so the KKK is fine to interrupt this church.
I don't understand how interrupting a church draws the attention of the president unless he is using the government as a political arm for himself.
They also broadcast it all over the internet. They're trying to make a political
You know how many crimes get broadcast all over the internet? That happens all the damn time.
Well, not all of them interrupt a church service and violate their freedom of religion.
Okay.
I mean, churches should be sacred. And I know you're going to bring up the example of ICE doing it, but in the ICE situation, that church knowingly, was harvesting an illegal, where the church had nothing to do with it. Even the guy they were trying to go after, which that alone, stalking the guy and stalking him to his church is fucked up on its own. The guy they're going after wasn't even there.
And I see in the comments. Yeah, Mr. G says the crime of interrupting a Klan meeting. Yeah. here's the thing. Here's what I.
Religion, then yes.
Let me ask you a simple question. Do you expect? Just give me your honest opinion. Do you expect Don Lemon to do a significant amount of prison time behind this?
No, he'll cut a deal. Probably pay some fine. I don't think he's doing prison.
So what's the purpose? I mean, you're giving this guy. Hold on, hang on. You're giving this guy not 15, but probably 30 minutes of fame. You're bringing all sorts of subscribers and shit to his page. You may even end up getting him another job on a major cable network. I mean, what I would like to be Don Lemon. He actually is going to benefit from this significantly, and even you're admitting he's probably not going to do much in terms of punishment for it at all. Why do this? It's costing the taxpayers money to pursue this guy at the highest levels of government. Why not let the state of Minnesota handle this? It's obviously a state crime to trespass and do this as well. Why would the highest levels of government do this?
I mean, trespassing is a state crime, but interrupting and violating the freedom of religion is a state crime. I'm probably sure it's even a hate crime.
It's not.
I mean, it's a serious crime. Churches should be off limit, and that's the reason. They don't care about Don Lemon having 5 minutes or benefiting.
You just listen.
They need to set it in stone that you need to leave churches alone. The churches are sacred, and you shouldn't violate people's freedom of religion.
We've been fucking with churches, MAGA reacts, since the beginning of the time, going back to the Klan, all that shit. This is not going to stop church. As I brought up, a pastor that's cheap. This is not going to stop church services from being interrupted, because everybody knows that the next church service that get interrupted is not likely to have the president coming after them. This ain't got nothing to do with interrupting a church service. This has more to do with Trump not liking Don. This is about Trump not liking Don Lemon and coming up with some kind of law to go after him. That's all this is about.
I think your example is bullshit, and this will stop the next person from
So
interrupting.
let me ask you this then. So if I would,
they're not all Don Lemon.
no, hear me out though.
Famous, but the next person's gonna get fucked.
So if I went, Trump watches a lot of Fox News. If I went into a church and argued and went in and interrupted the church service, said you guys are collecting too much money, I think you fuckers are corrupt. Interrupted the service. And they showed it on Fox and Trump saw it. You think he would have Pam Bondi come after me?
I mean, if you did it for political reasons, yeah.
So in other words, it ain't about. So based on what you were saying, it has nothing to do with interrupting church service. You're talking about political reasons. It has nothing to do with interrupting the church service.
Tim, why do you play these games with me?
Because you're on the court holding a ball.
You know exactly what the fuck I mean, and you keep playing these word games with me, and I really don't have time.
I don't know what you mean.
Exactly what I mean. You know the difference between like what they did and some woman fighting with some other woman or some other bullshit interruption.
If the crime is interrupting the church service, the woman interrupting the pastor that's cheating is doing that. You're making it clear it has nothing to do with your own admission.
Explain to you the difference.
Your own admission makes it clear it has nothing to do with interrupting the church service.
Word games. You're playing word games like it's a fucking same thing for some random woman to be mad at a cheating husband or cheating guy.
Okay.
Versus, a fucking organized protest that stopped an ICE person, doxed an ICE person to his fucking church while he's praying, even though he wasn't even there.
You're making it clear. You're making it abundantly clear. This has nothing to do with interrupting the church service. It's politics. You even keep saying it's political. You even keep saying it.
Yes, it's both. It can be both. I don't get why
it ain't both.
Just because it has to do with politics doesn't make it right it makes it more wrong. And it's both. It's both interrupting the church for political reasons. I don't get
you don't get it because you don't want to. You're like the DoorDash customer that won't take the food now. You don't get it because you won't pick it up. Thank you, Rod. And by the way, help your boy out with the TikTok cap. Help your boy out with the TikTok cap, folks. Thank you. We're getting close to the goal. I appreciate that. But yeah, you don't get it, MAGA, because you don't want to.
These people hate ICE. They showed up, and it was a hate crime. Okay? How about that? How about I put it in those words?
Let me ask it to you this way. Let's say, for instance, you had a pastor that was known to be pro-choice, and they interrupted his church. You think, and Trump saw that. You think Trump was sending it? You think that's political, by the way? You think Trump would get involved in that?
Let's talk about something else.
No. Answer that question. So yes or no. If you had a pastor that was, hold on, let me frame it, and you give me your yes or no, and we can move on. If you had a pastor that was pro-choice, and some pro-life folks interrupted his church service, politically based, and Trump got wind of it, you think he would get involved in it?
He can.
That ain't what I asked you. That ain't what I asked you. I didn't say if he can.
Biden would.
That ain't what I'm asking. You're skipping people.
Biden would, and he would have a right to do
Once again, ain't none of that got anything to do with what I asked you. Do you think Trump would go after him is the question I asked.
He might. I don't know.
So once again, it's pretty clear this has nothing to do with interrupting the church service. It's something selective that Trump is going. What else you want to talk about?
The other thing I wanted to mention real quick about the same thing is, the judge said no, so they took it to a grand jury. They didn't go judge shopping. The indictment itself says that the grand jury basically gave them the authority to charge Don Lemon. So they didn't go judge shopping like you mentioned. They actually, went to the grand jury, and the grand jury said yes, they could charge him.
Because they couldn't get a judge, so they went to a grand jury, which, they always say you can indict a ham sandwich with a grand jury because they only hear one side of the story. We've seen the judges reject it. Once it gets back in the hands of a judge, it ain't going nowhere, MAGA. If we allow Don Lemon to go down for what he was charged with, the way we deal with journalism is going to be fundamentally changed.
No, no, because journalists don't do this dumb shit. This isn't violating any freedom of speech or anything. They're violating freedom of religion, and You know, this isn't something that happens every day. That's the other thing that pisses me off. You guys are acting like everything that happened the last like 30 days just happens every day. Like they were just doing their normal shit, and you know, just because Trump didn't like them, he went after them. I mean, every one of these cases is so goddamn unique. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and the fact that you had a hesitation on me using the fictional example of someone interfering with a church that is pro-choice shows you know that he's biased. You know that he's biased. You know that this has nothing to do. Yeah. I mean, the whole purpose, the whole damn purpose ICE is in Minnesota is due to bias. The whole purpose of that. There's a reason why that particular town was picked and flooded with ICE agents.
I call bullshit because the Biden, even the Obama era, had the ICE in Minnesota deporting people.
3,000 of them. Largest deployment in U.S. history.
Obama got help.
Largest deployment in U.S. history. Yeah. Look, if you're going to pretend like you don't see Trump's actions as political at all, it's just about following the law.
They're biased, but they don't make that. Just because it's biased doesn't make them wrong. Like all the J6 prosecution were biased, but it doesn't make them wrong. I mean, they're not right, but they're not like it was legal, but you know what I mean? Like,
no, I don't.
They were biased, but they had the right to do them, and we had the right to pardon them after. So hopefully, in 10 years, when there's another Democrat in office, they could pardon Don Lemon.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's going to get that far, Maggie X. I think there's a ton of judges out there that are not going to let that fly, because if it can fly on Don Lemon, it's going to fly on somebody else. I mean, if you, like I said, the way they're dealing with this, it can change the way journalism is done in this country.
No, because journalists don't go around planning fucking church interruptions with protesters.
Yeah.
This is not an everyday thing.
If it was about...
Like all the time, they're like, you guys treating ICE like they're the Gestapo. But the Gestapo went to people's homes and took them out of their homes and killed them in their homes. Meanwhile, these guys are not going to. The Gestapo didn't take everybody out their homes and kill. They made some of them just work. The fact is, they were doing things and taking out your freedoms. They could come in your house without a warrant. They didn't kill everybody. Well, ICE is not doing any of that. They're not killing people. They're not hunting them down.
They tried to go into an Ecuadorian embassy the other goddamn day. What are you talking about? They're not doing that stuff.
It was a consulate, not an embassy, which is another thing I didn't get to talk about the other day. It was a consulate. Consulates are different. Consulates share their space with other businesses. It's just like any.
So you're saying they had a right to go in there without a warrant or anything?
No, they had a fucking immigration warrant, which are a little different than a regular warrant. It's not as good. You're still like a valid warrant.
I'm just gonna.
Depends, like
we don't have an argument on that. We don't have an argument because I think you're just totally wrong on that. A consulate is nothing. The only difference between a consulate and an embassy is a consulate is a branch office. That's all it is. It's the same thing, same power. It's a branch office.
They don't have all the same services.
They have the same level of diplomatic sovereignty.
They don't.
Okay.
They don't. It's not the same. They half the time it's just like a corner office and like, you know what I mean?
So it's not considered. So a consulate is a wait. So a consulate is not considered a sovereign part of that nation.
No, it depends. I mean,
but depends on what? Depends on what?
If they own the whole building, it's a giant one, maybe. But most of the time, they're just little offices in the corner that give out passports.
Okay, so even if it's their an office, they have an ability to lock up their portion of the office. That portion is a sovereign part of their country.
That part is true, yes.
All right,
but
then.
Is that what they did? We don't know.
There's literally film of them at the door trying to get in. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, but is the consulate the entire thing, or are they just locking out the whole building? I mean, and again, I don't know all the nuances of a consulate.
Obviously, you don't. Obviously, all I can tell you is you need to watch the video. You're defending something, and you're sounding crazy. Like, you need to watch the whole damn video.
The videos. Let's go back to Alex. Like, I showed you the videos of him interfering or arguing with ICE several times. Did you listen to that video 11 days earlier? Do you Did you hear the words he was saying?
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think it's relevant to something that happens 11 days later, MAGA. I don't think it.
What was he saying? What was he saying that day?
When he was spitting on the cops and all of that?
Yeah, what did he say to
I don't know. Maybe I didn't hear that part. What did he say?
He's like, assault me, attack me, assault me.
Okay.
Basically, he was begging them to attack him, which gets me to think he's looking for them to attack him so he could unalive them and say self-defense. But he's literally on tape saying these words to attack him. And you know what's funny? Like, now I think about it, this girl's wife was kind of saying the same shit as like, you know, you want to hit me, big boy?
Well, the point I'm making is none of that is relevant 11 days later, though, MAGA. If he didn't say that on the day he got killed, bring him kicking the light, none of that stuff is relevant 11 days later.
I understand. And look, he doesn't deserve to die for any of it. But when you put all these pieces together, it kind of paints a picture of a guy that's trying to provoke ICE and, you know, and impeding ICE and obstructing ICE.
All of the photos, all of the videos and photos you can show of ICE being violent to people, impeding their paths, preventing them from filming, you can make the same argument that ICE is like that and shoot one of them, I guess, huh? I mean, there's plenty of videos of ICE being anything other than neighborly. So do you make the same leap of faith that you're making with Alex Pretti?
No, because ICE is not going to these people. These people are coming to ICE.
You don't. So you ain't seen a video.
At their work, at their home.
So you ain't seen a video. You haven't seen a video of ICE doing anything wrong at all.
I don't like it, but a lot of it is they're just trying to do their job the best they can. I mean,
that didn't answer the question.
5 minutes.
That's not answering it. I asked you, have you seen a video of ICE doing anything wrong at all?
What do you mean by wrong? I've seen them do wrong shit. Have I seen them do anything illegal? Not really. Not that I can.
Not really. Not, what is it? Partially illegal? What you're mixing words. Not really. What does that mean?
Like, I don't know the law. Like, I'm sure if
Hey,
I
what
say
the fuck?
this looks illegal, you could be like, oh, you know, you're right. They violated.
You're talking on in regards to. You're speaking out in regards to how bad Alex Pretti was. You're talking about Don Lemon Break. But when it comes to ICE, well, I don't know the law all of a sudden now, huh? That how that works?
Well, look,
You don't know the law all of a sudden.
the fact of the matter is, they only pulled out their toy when they saw his. They only pulled out their fucking, you know, pew-pew when they found one on him. You know? So if he was a little bit more, just had a little bit of common sense.
Thank you, Gordon. Appreciate it. All right. Well, I agree with the comments. I agree with the common sense part, but I don't believe that what he did 11 days ago has any relevance to his death, and I don't believe even a firearm has any. He didn't pull a firearm out like Christian Holmes says and all this stuff. At the end of the day, they disarmed him and somehow decided after he was disarmed to kill him. I don't think anything you said justifies that.
What's a good way to say what she tried to say? That he showed up with one on him. How do you say that, Tim? How would you say it?
Exactly what you just said. He showed up with a firearm on his person. Exactly that. She made it sound like he showed up. All of this, he showed up with a firearm and then they tried to disarm him. That didn't happen. He didn't. All of this, she makes it sound like he showed up with a gun in his hand.
It's also exactly what happened. He showed up with a gun on him.
No.
And then when they found it,
they attempted to disarm him, MAGA? Is that what happened? They attempted to disarm him?
No, they did disarm him.
That ain't what she said.
The guy that disarmed him wasn't the same guy
that ain't what she said, though. She said they attempted to disarm him, and then he got violent.
She didn't give you every little detail.
She didn't give me every detail. No, she didn't give me every detail. She gave me a few fucked up ones. She said that he showed her with a firearm.
You make assumptions about what she meant, which you do with me all the time. So I kind of blame you for that one. Because you're always making assumption about what I'm saying instead of listening or...
So when she says they attempted to disarm him and then he got violent, that's how you see that?
I don't think he got violent. But, you know, for her, maybe it seems to be violent. But I think he resisted without violence.
I'm not even talking about that part, though.
There's a line between what he did and violence.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about that part, and I agree with you there. She said they attempted to disarm him, which generally means you weren't successful in doing it, and then he got violent. They they just took his shit right off of him.
No, but you could attempt and be successful. She never said they failed at disarming him.
Okay.
I mean, you're always playing these word games, and you make me look like I'm fucking a pretzel. But
now you're doing that. You're doing pretty well on that yourself. Attempted to disarm him.
These word games.
They
you know, like
they
you know how the English language works.
No, I don't. You speaking English. Maybe you're from Nigeria somewhere with a scam. No, the English you're speaking don't make sense. She said they attempted to disarm him and then he got violent. From the time they disarmed him, he was being shot within seconds. There was no attempted to disarm him and then he got violent. That didn't happen. That's a lie.
You're right. She kind of stretched the timeline. I didn't say she was accurate, but I don't think she was that crazy. And then you don't even talk about Waltz. What about Waltz and him saying, "Oh, he murdered him off the bat"? I mean, Waltz and the mayor, whatever.
Tim Waltz don't
like, oh, murder.
Tim Waltz ain't part of the investigation. He don't count. That's like me and you talking about it. Trump administration.
It's the same shit.
Trump administration. No, because Tim Waltz is not in on the investigation. No, Tim Waltz is not in on the investigation. The Trump administration is controlling it. So their statements hold much more weight because they're actually controlling the investigation. Tim Waltz is on the outside looking in. His statements don't matter.
Waltz has his own police force and can have his own investigation and is doing his own investigation.
I think I gotta move it. I gotta move it on. But Waltz got a federally signed warrant. Waltz got a federally signed warrant, and they blocked him from taking part in it. So he has nothing to do with the investigation. What you're talking about is factually not true. The Waltz administration don't even know who took Alex Pretti's life. What you're talking about is not true. They don't even have all the facts.
Just as much. He's lying and saying it's murder. So why would we trust his investigation? Why would we trust Waltz?
We'll leave it at that. I gotta go. We'll move it on that. Anyway, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, folks. Bringing up Waltz, in my opinion, when he has no access to the investigation, compared to Trump and Kristi Noem that has complete access to the investigation, and suggesting that they're somehow equal, makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. The Trump administration is controlling how the investigation is going. Waltz is just the governor of Minnesota making comments. It's not involved in it. As I stated before, they don't even know the identity of who took Alex Pretti's life. The Trump administration do. The Waltz administration has no clue in regards to the location of who took Renee Nicole Good's life. The Trump administration does. So making it sound like that their comments and things are equal makes no sense. One side is on the outside looking in, the other side is inside controlling everything. Big difference. So what Kristi Noem is saying, what Stephen Miller is saying, what Trump is saying is 1,000 times more relevant than what Mayor Fry or Governor Waltz is saying. Look, get in the comments, Tim. I really hope MAGA Reacts has a run-in with ICE tomorrow. That's mean. Anyway, help your boy out with the TikTok cap goal. You guys know what I always ask. Show the boy some love. We'll go back to the box. We'll go to Biggie R. And real quick in the comments before we do that, what the hell would he use the Triple K as an example? It makes no sense. I know he's a foreigner, but he should really learn American history, says Me Too. I'm trying to think in what the context was. Georgia Fort Gore raid at her home for being at church too. I didn't hear about that one. But like I said, in regards to this whole going after Don Lemon because he was interrupting church service, this ain't about that. Just like it's not about going into Minnesota due to illegal immigrants. The Trump administration revealed their hands when they indicated that if Minnesota would give them access to their voter rolls, they would withdraw ICE. So you're not here for immigrants. You're not here for Somali Fry. You ain't arrested many Somalis. You ain't even deported a whole lot of immigrants, but you're ready to leave already. All you got to do is give you voter rolls, which has nothing to do with Somali fraud or illegal immigration, and that'll make you leave. So you're actually not here for what you're claiming. Just like if Venezuela gives us oil, we'll stop blowing up your boats. And the same thing with Greenland. We give you our rare earth minerals, you'll leave us alone. I mean, it's pretty clear that what we're being told is not what's actually happening. But it makes for a good input excuse to get into position. But what's happening in Minnesota has nothing to do with illegal immigration, Somali Fry, or any of that. It's to teach Mayor Fry and Tim Walz a lesson for fucking with Trump during campaign time. Darkside Rider says, is MAGA reacts related to Barney, the purple dinosaur, because he's seeing some crazy stuff. I'm going to leave that alone. MAGA Reacts was a friend of the program. We don't agree on anything, but he's a friend of the program, just like all of my viewers are, including my MAGA side. He was knocked down, sprayed, pummeled, and disarmed, and then they shot him. Yeah. The whole notion that they were trying to, she says, attempted. I'll let you guys hear it one more time.
Approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
I'll stop right quick and say, when you look at the video, I don't even think it's accurate to say he approached the ICE agents. They knocked over a woman and he tended to the woman. I don't even believe the way she's describing that is accurate, at least from the video I've seen. To me, that even sounds inaccurate.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
His reaction had nothing to do with them disarming him. Nothing. By the time when they got to the point of disarming him, he was only seconds away from dying. So she makes it sound like they were trying to disarm him, and he suddenly was fighting with them over the gun or something like that. This is worded terribly. But my last caller indicated that I'm playing games with words. The wording of this is terrible. If you had to, let's say you went out and found an animation artist or something like that, and you told them to create a cartoon based on what she is saying, you think it would look like what happened to Alex Pretti? If they took her words and said, I want you to create a motion cartoon based on what this Homeland Security Secretary said, you think it would look anything like what actually happened based on her words?
Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene.
Defensive shots against who? By the time the shots were being fired, there was nobody with a gun but the guy shooting the one. But the only people that had guns were the people shooting the deceased guy. So she makes it sound like the agent is in a gunfight, firing defensive shots. Defending against what? The dude on the ground that you were beating in the head with a can of OC spray, and suddenly you defending against this dude? He's on the ground laying like a fucking turtle.
Officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene.
I don't even know if medics are on the scene immediately. Anyway, I'm moving on, but that to me, look, we could talk about Alex Pretti and Renee Nicole Good and all these folks because this stuff is making national news, but I want you guys to understand something. There are parents, a lot of them minorities, but there are white parents as well, that lose their relatives at the hands of police. And the only story we have for what happened to their relatives is shit like this. There are plenty of local police departments that have people working for those departments, spokespersons working for those departments that release shitty statements like this in regards to trying to justify killing somebody. This is not something that is unique to Alex Pretti. There's a lot of folks that have been sitting on the porch while their homie got killed by the cops or something like that, and they're watching some lieutenant or somebody on TV giving a statement just like this. Like, I was there and seeing this. There's no fucking way what this person is saying is true, but the problem is, most of the times this stuff is not filmed by other citizens. If the citizens that were protesting and blowing whistles did not have their cameras on, this would be the official statement we would be going with. That's what would be out there. Because there would be nothing to prove what she is saying is incorrect. That would be the official statement. and they would wrap this up instantly and refer to those officers as justified. That would be all you would have. There's a lot of folks who have lost loved ones, and statements like this is what cleared the guys that murdered them. Anyway, looking in the comments here real quick, $10 billion IRS lawsuit pretty much to negotiate with himself to get taxpayer money in his pocket. Trump ain't shit, says Mr. G. And he's going to win that lawsuit, obviously. He's suing his own IRS for releasing his... Now, I'm going to tell you this in defense of Trump. That's not a totally fabricated or bullshit lawsuit. There was private information about President Trump that was leaked. He's got a lot of bullshit stuff he's done. I don't think it's worth $10 billion, but look, if you were a politician and, you know, I think in something like that, he does have a legitimate lawsuit. What I don't like, though, is the president cannot be sued while he's in the Oval Office. In my opinion, that should disqualify him from suing others as well, because he can sue institutions and folks that defame him and say all kinds of bullshit about him as president. Meanwhile, he's defaming people and saying all kinds of bullshit about them also as president, and nobody can sue him. So I do believe that if you're going to suggest that nobody can sue the president while he's in the Oval Office, he should not be able to sue anybody else as well, because he's lying and defaming and doing all kinds of stuff to people too. He's suing people for defaming him, but they can't sue him for defaming them. I mean, some of the stuff he's saying about the media, for instance, just stuff that's terribly wrong. Defaming them. Whole networks are fake. Stuff like that. They should be able to sue him like he's suing those people. So I think that should change. Hopefully, after the Trump years, they do start passing some laws to right some unfair wrongs like that. If you can't sue him, he shouldn't be to sue you. He's get caught lying and then he sues like a dumbass, says Cowboy. He's making a lot of money. Can you argue with him? He's getting paid handsomely by suing folks. Continuing on, we'll go to one of my subscribers, Arsha Fine. Good evening, Arsha. Welcome to the program. Are you there, Arsha?
I am. Long time.
Long time no here. Good to have you back on, though. Now,
yeah, happy New Year. I think this is the first time I've talked to you this year.
Yeah, it is. It's good to have you. So
you ignore me. You ignore me. It's okay.
I don't. Come on.
But you're a busy guy. You got lots of people that want to talk. I understand.
We don't ignore it, though. Unfortunately, I'm one person. I can't get to everybody, but we don't ignore Arsha. We don't do that.
I know. Shoot. Okay. So we're talking about.
We're talking about Don Lemon. Don Lemon has been taken. Well, he's out now on. I believe he got out on no bond. But Don Lemon is a free man, but he was taken into custody, and of course, the Trump administration are going to be the only ones investigating the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Pretti. Do you trust the output of that investigation?
No, and nobody else should either, because if MAGA reacts and all those folks don't trust Tim Walz and all that, that's fine. If they equally say that there are issues with both sides of the scale when it comes, get somebody independent.
Yeah. And I say that as well. I say that as well. If I bring up that Trump or Kristi Noem, they've been awful with some of this stuff, and then they counter with Tim Walz like MAGA react, but Tim Walz ain't involved in the investigation. I agree with you. We should be a third party.
But the problem is, we did that third party. Jack Smith was a third party, independent, no political anything. Look where he is. So again, it's the thing that is a problem with fans of Donald Trump.
What do you mean?
Because that's really what they are, fans. They can't say that they are Christians. They can't, they can say it, of course, but, they say all these other things. But at the end of the, these are some of the most soulless people. When I hear them talk, I'm like, and you know why MAGA Reacts gets so mad when you he's always like, stop twisting my words. No, bro, he's saying Tim is literally saying your own words back, and he's like, and he knows how fucked up it sounds. He's like, that's not what I said. No, bro, it is. No. It is what you said, and yeah, you're shocked as we all are. So look inward, MAGA Reacts. A thing that the handsome conservative said earlier, dude. I don't like you. First off, you assume that equality. You assume that equality means that women want to be like men. No. Does that mean equality for races means that all Black people want to be white? I don't think so. So what women want.
Good point.
Is equality in pay, equality in finance, equality in respect. Equality and protection, equality as a human being.
But how do you respond? How do you respond to folks? Because when Blacks say that they don't have equality, people say that shit ended a long time ago. How do you respond to folks who suggest that women already do have equal pay for equal work? If you just do the job equal to a man, a lot of folks don't believe women are not getting paid the same.
Well, because they don't want to believe it, because then they would have to accept that they're okay with it. So, this country has the elites of this country, of which it was founded on, have an amazing way of making poor white people hate other poor people. It's in everything that was founded in this country, and it's amazing how now there's always a villain, but behind the doors, the elite or the people with the money are always doing and it's
well, you gotta.
I think it was Gen X that said they're not going anywhere. Neither are conscientious objectors.
Well, Melissa K574 in the comments, and Melissa obviously means she's a woman. She says she is full of shit. So Melissa obviously disagrees with you. She didn't say why she's saying you're full of shit, but she obviously disagrees with.
Why has a bill not passed Congress for the past 40 years to make it law that all women, earn the same pay dollar to dollar as a man? Why? Why won't that get a vote? Why doesn't?
How can you vote? I'll give you an example. When I say how can you vote on it, I'll give you an example. A lot of folks in the WNBA, now that Caitlin Clark and people are paying attention to female basketballers, a lot of folks are saying, why do they make so much less than the male players? And the problem is, if you got 1,000 times more people paying to come see me than you, should you make I don't just blew a damn circuit. Should you make the same as me? If there's far more people coming to see me.
The United States women's soccer team was winning all the time. Mm-hmm. They were being watched. The men's U.S. soccer team sucked. They were still getting paid more than women. Same country, same sport, always winning. Soccer is big around the world. People don't care if it's a male team or a women's team. I mean, it's soccer. It's different than the NBA, but obviously. But no, that even proves my point even more, especially when you have a U.S. sponsor.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is there are some areas we can use the soccer team example, but that doesn't apply to the WNBA. That doesn't work at all. I mean, the amount of revenue that the NBA with men are bringing in compared to women, I mean, it's going to be multiples.
Again, yes, you're correct. However, then again, I understand that. Of course, if they are not bringing in the same profit, of course. But when the U.S. women's soccer team was bringing in more than the men's and winning, mm-hmm. they still weren't getting paid.
I don't disagree with that, but I guess I would point out there are.
To the question, if your resume is if Susan and Steve have the same resume, went to the same school, had the same GPA, had the exact same everything, the male in management is going to have a higher salary than the female.
Yeah, but here's what I don't get. We talk. I mean, there are professions where women make more, like modeling, for instance. A male model doesn't make a fraction of what a female model makes. Positions where your looks matter, Women tend to make a lot more money than men do.
So when we exploit our beauty, that's where the money is.
I'm just saying, if you're for fair pay,
That's the only thing women are good for.
I'm just saying if you're no, because I would tell you another thing that has nothing to do with pay, but the way we treat females, or better yet, women as parents compared to men, it's night and day. I mean, women have a lot more parental rights than men do. I mean, that's something that men could complain about. They're certainly disadvantaged in that category.
I'm just saying equality, the same respect, the same treatment.
Would you be willing to give fathers?
I'm saying that should happen worldwide. Just women having equality. I mean, there are, in a lot of countries, we're just discarded. It's not just here, know. So I mean, we just want equality.
What about what Mike Hawk in the comments said? He said, "Sign up for the draft." And what about the notion that if a war breaks out, you don't get treated as equal as men, and you like it? You don't have to worry about being sent to the front lines. You want women? If a war breaks, do you believe women should be drafted into combat just like men?
Honestly, you're probably going to be shocked by this, but I honestly think that every American citizen that's born here, I mean, because obviously you're going to come here at a later age if you're, immigrate and become a citizen, but should be required to do 2 to 4 years of service.
Like in Israel.
Any kind.
Like in Israel.
No, of any, or South Korea or anything. The reason I say that is because finally it'll be, and you can't get out of it just because your daddy is the CEO. That would be different. They've never done that in history. You could always buy your way out of having to go to war. But one, I think it would be a great thing. And it could be any type of service.
I disagree with it for the simple fact we don't need, you got to pay all of those people. You don't need, we already have the most powerful military on earth, and obviously everybody don't do 2 to 4 years. If everybody, you got to pay all of those people for 2 to 4 years of salary.
I'm saying 2 to 4 years of service. Yes. So it could be Peace Corps. It could be AmeriCorps. It could be the Navy, the Coast Guard, any of those sorts of things. 2 to 4 years of service.
Yeah, but do you know what that would do to the military? You realize what that would do to the military budget? All the extra money? That would really require an expansion of the budget.
We have such an inflated budget as it is compared to most countries that actually do the same thing. European countries do this. I think it's like, Norway, Switzerland.
Yeah, but they don't send their citizens all over the world, though.
No, I'm not saying you have to. Look, we can do service in our own country.
If they make if you do 2 to 4 years, they're gonna find an excuse to start sending your ass to combat zones and things like that. It ain't gonna be long before 2 or 4 years.
And everybody could use a nice physical, education.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. But I'm kind of like a JFK kind of person with that one. But back to Don Lemon. If we're gonna say that because Don Lemon had a phone and was recording this situation, and because he rode in a vehicle with other people, knowing what could or could not happen, then every single American that was at January 6th, where they went in, whether or not they went into the building, they knew what was happening because they rode with somebody, then they are all criminally, sounds like we have a lot of arrests to do.
So, but you don't think Don Lemon is a criminal?
No, I'm saying two things can. If you're going to say that about Don Lemon,
I get your point. Yeah.
Then we're going to have to say that about a lot of things.
Yeah, and I agree with you. The fact is, the MAGA.
But we all know it's because we have a whiny baby in the White House. He needs his participation trophy of a freaking medal. It doesn't even have his name on it. I'm sure he's going to find a way to get it on there, though. There is no denying that there's a lot of hypocrisy behind some of this stuff. Like I brought up
And you can't. My monitor. I don't pop the circuit breaker, so that's why my stuff is off. But the idea that Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretti, both of them losing their lives, they went to a protest. They were not compliant with officers. Pretti had a gun. All of that stuff applies to the January 6th protesters, and they viewed them as patriots. They were not compliant. They were bear spraying officers that day. They had flags. They were beating cops. They were doing all of the stuff that Alex Pretti and Renee Nicole Good is accused of, and they called them patriots.
But Don Lemon didn't do anything except for, and by the way, you can film anything anywhere and not do shit. Okay? Yeah. Think of all the things that we have found and seen with our own eyes, unless you believe what you're seeing isn't real, of people filming things in this country, whether it be the guy who was being unalived on the subway or George. We film things all the time and do nothing. So don't say Don Lemon is a human being who's.
Yeah, I don't think that case with. Yeah, I don't think the case with Don Lemon is going anywhere. Real quick in the comments.
No, I think it.
Go ahead.
It's stupid.
Yeah. Critical 509 says no Capitol police officers were injured as a result of January 6th incident. I don't see where anybody was injured as a result of Alex Pretti either. So what's the big deal?
Exactly. same, bro.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There are so many similarities, yet they view Alex Pretti as a criminal and the January 6th folks as heroes. Well, I don't get it.
And again, because they're fans. Fans will stand by you. No matter what. I guarantee there are still fans out there of people. You know what I mean? It's not because of their convictions, or because their convictions change by day, and depending on who you put in the scenario, right? Like, and so no, they're fans.
Well, it works. It pays to be MAGA. Then I mean, maybe because people tell me I'm MAGA. Do I need to switch sides or something?
Tim, be quiet. I do want to say something.
Sure.
I have a really hard time these days with always comparing what we're going through right now to Nazi Germany. We don't need to look at the 40s to see the horrors that humans can do to other humans. We can look at our own country here from conception. We came up with biological warfare with the smallpox blanket as a gift. So don't say, oh, we're going back. No, we're going way back, people. But they're trying to erase it from our history.
Yeah, even when you mention Germany, fact is what the Germans did, they got that from us. I mean, even Hitler actually was using practices used in America.
Exactly. So if you know, slowly but surely, the history of what's been done, which again, it's history. It was already made, and it's not. History's not done. We make it, and we're making it right now. And one of these days, there's going to be kids in the school, hopefully, learning about this time.
That ain't a good lesson, but I would like, just like you're saying, for that lesson to be available. Whether you think this was a great time or not, I don't want history erased. And I do agree with you that it seems like there are entities in place that does not want the full scope of American history to make it to the future.
Correct. And they're going to use the poor and the disenfranchised to keep battling out amongst each other so that they can load their pockets.
It's all about money. I got to move it on, Usher, because I got to figure out what the hell's wrong with my lighting system, but...
All good. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Miss that face.
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you. Appreciate that. Come on back anytime. All right. And by the way, thank you. Real quick in the comments, Will G, Mr. G says he said he would disclose his tax returns, and he never did. And he is a public figure, FOIA request. Yeah, he changed that now because that was a tradition that, presidential candidates would release their taxes, and he came along and broke that tradition. But tradition is not necessarily law. And, a lot of things we took for granted that, presidential candidates would do. Trump came along and said, fuck that. He didn't even have a dog. He didn't go to church. He ain't married to his high school sweetheart. A lot of the things we had come to know and deal with from a president or a presidential candidate that was tradition. Trump came along and broke all of those traditions. You know, you don't supposed to be running your own businesses while you're president or putting your family. Just fuck all of that stuff. I mean, so I don't know what we'll do going forward. If we'll allow future presidents to do that stuff, or there will be a series of laws preventing it. Because if we let him go through the porthole or the portal, future presidents should be able to do it too, right? I mean, a lot of things he's done that are non-traditional. If he can get away with it, that means the next guy can get away with it. And there's a lot of things he's done that you have not. I mean, sending ICE to Minnesota, National Guard to U.S. cities. I mean, if he done it, they can do it too, right? So we'll see how that turns out. He is only doing what we let Congress do. Well, that's also something that's non-traditional, is that you normally see the three branches of government putting checks and balances on each other. President Trump came along and Congress just said, whatever you want, sir. I mean, you're not really seeing any output from Congress at all. This has had to be the easiest. This is going to be rather, because 2 years Congress, this is the easiest 2 years Congress has ever had. They haven't passed a lot of laws or anything. They've had vacations with the government shut down. Easiest job you could ever have. They ain't done really anything. Show up in Washington for a few, talk a little bit on C-SPAN or question a suspect or something during a hearing. But in terms of actually doing stuff, a lot of them ain't even having town halls anymore because those have become so volatile. You see what happened to Ilhan Omar the other day. She needs to increase her security. But it's easiest span of Congress probably in our lifetimes. They ain't done shit. I mean, other than the big beautiful bill, what is it, Lincoln Riley Act maybe is in there. The bill protecting the integrity of women's sports. Like a handful of things they've done. Like there's virtually nothing there. Nothing there. I mean, easiest job ever. Anyway, folks, I do have to step away because I got to figure out why we have no lighting. Can't run a show without the props and all of the other shit that makes it work. So I do appreciate you folks tapping the screen. Certainly helping your boy out with 100 plus 1,000 on the likes. We will be here tomorrow. So if you like this type of dialogue from us, that's the hour. Follow the program if you're watching on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. Give us a sub if you're watching on YouTube. Before we go out, you folks on the YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. I need that. I'm going to ask you folks on YouTube in particular. Smash that like button. Helps out the algorithm. The show is going to remain MAGA friendly. Always have been, always will be. It's not about your political affiliation. It's about your right to speak. So we're always going to be about free speech, no matter what side of the aisle you're leaning on. So I do appreciate you folks that tune in regularly. We'll do it again tomorrow. You guys take care. I'm going to go ahead and end it so I can figure out what the hell's going on with the lighting. Y'all have a good night. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Don't know why I'm hitting stuff. I'm hitting the wrong thing. There we go.